all begins on Thursday, and your home for the NBA Finals is 94-1 San Antonio Sports Star. Golden State's Bob Myers, a two-time Executive of the Year and architect of 4 NBA championships, is stepping down as the Warriors' president and general manager. Well, Nick Nurse is now the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Sports Center is brought to you by Kielbasa Slow Crafted Sausage, available at your local grocery stores.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. A Tuesday afternoon that feels like a Monday.
It sure does. But I'm glad it's Tuesday. Pretty happy about that because it will feel like a Monday, but, Friday gets here a lot quicker.
It does. And you think about having a nice holiday weekend. Although that rain, was that in the forecast?
I don't know.
That we got yesterday afternoon?
It wasn't in my forecast. I don't know if it was in somebody's forecast, but no, not in mine. It's weird because it was a beautiful day until it wasn't. Those storms just kind of came out of nowhere.
No, I was in Boston over the weekend. We got back late Sunday. So Monday, weren't doing much. Just ran to H-E-B. And while I was running to the store, the skies opened up. And I was like, well, not going to let a little rain keep you from barbecuing. Of course, with a patio cover, you can do that, right? But my goodness, I wasn't expecting that kind of rain. And I washed my car before I left for Boston. And, of course, it was out of the garage for about 20 minutes with just enough time to get dirty again.
I tell you, we're actually driving back, Maggie and I, from Kerrville, and got caught in that stuff. Had to get off the golf course early, in fact. And so, which was kind of a travesty. Saw the lightning, so we got off the golf course. But by the time we hit the road, man, it came down. And there were people pulling over on the side of the road. You couldn't see in front of you. Little bitty pellets of hail. Wasn't anything severe, at least where we were. And so, but everything turned out all right.
And again, you get home, you got some golf in, which is ultimately all that matters. Maybe not all 18, but enough. And like you said, life is good. And it was a day that was needed, a day of rest. Now, granted, I went to Boston over the weekend, and I haven't been to Boston since the early 90s, probably 92, 93, when I was in the Navy stationed on the East Coast up in New York area. My wife had never been. That has to be one of the most patriotic cities in America. I didn't realize. Now, it's one thing, you understand the history and you go do that,
right.
But all the different places, flags everywhere. And I know it's Memorial Weekend and everybody puts out their flag. They do it a whole nother level. Like San Antonio, Military City, USA, we should step up a little. I mean, just different things that you just go, man, this is awesome. I mean, even DC, and when you're in DC around a holiday weekend, nothing like what I experienced in Boston. It was a great weekend.
And I hope everybody took a little time to remember the reason we all had a long weekend because, well, people died to give us that right. So, my goodness, it was much needed. The problem is, Jason, I don't know about you, and you were traveling, but it seems when I have a holiday weekend like that or a 3-day weekend, it seems you go a little harder on Saturday, so and Sunday because you have that extra day, and so I wouldn't say I'm dragging today, but I'm dragging today.
Well, and it's okay to drag a little today. I know I'm dragging. I mean, between going to Boston, seeing the Foo Fighters, which was awesome, being in purposefully finding dive bar in Boston's little pubs that I wanted to be at while the Celtics were playing, just kind of experience that.
Yeah,
it was great. It was a lot of fun. And I see you walk in. I mean, you talk about dragging. You've got a 6-pack of beer sitting on the counter here.
I do.
I mean, have you stopped? I mean, you apparently not.
Well, I figured, we'd party during the show. No, that
here we go.
Is a lesson to everybody. I made a beer bet with Rudy J on Friday. I took Miami in Game 6. He took, obviously, Boston. So I lost. And there it is. It will be here waiting for Rudy J when he pulls up in the morning. He can do with it what he wants, but the bet is paid off.
So you're going to leave the beer just on the counter in the studio?
Yes.
And hope that it's there in the morning.
Nobody's going to take that beer. Nobody's going to take that beer.
I mean, you realize James Pledger is the last to leave.
I get James Pledger, and I know that.
You know, Christian Blood down the hall over at KTSA.
That's going to have Rudy's name written all over it. And if somebody wants to be, you know, a slime ball and take the beer, then
I mean, it's if you put it in the refrigerator.
But then he can't get it. And I don't see Rudy. We don't see
Sure.
each other.
Well,
so
I'm
if it's
not-
in the fridge,
Well, yeah, I mean, the fridge in the office, he would never get that because it's locked. But you put it in the community fridge down the hall,
then it would be gone for sure.
then it would be gone.
Yeah, for sure.
Johnny Ramirez from Tejano 95.7 would see that and say, "Hey,
I'm going to put it somewhere where it's not easily visible. Nobody comes in the studio at night.
see, I don't believe that.
You don't?
No,
I do.
no, I've worked here way too long. You know, things disappear out of here that you don't think would disappear. Now, all those bobbleheads, somehow they have managed to stay. But other times there's things in here and, you know, it's gone. Or the TV will be on a channel that you go, well, who in here was watching Home and Garden TV?
James Pledger.
It wasn't James Pledger. It wasn't James Pledger.
I don't know what James Pledger does for pleasure when he gets home. I have no idea.
Let's just keep that at home and not here in the studio.
I have no idea.
Cable's free here.
Exactly. I think it'll be just fine. And I want Rudy to know that it's here. In fact, I'm going to text him and say, look, dude, I left it.
Take a photo of it.
I left it
with the clock.
So there it is.
Because we know Sam won't do anything with it. Because Sam's for a couple. His wife gave birth over the weekend.
Congratulations to Sam.
Absolutely.
And his family. That's awesome.
Sam, for about 3 months, has been sweating bullets about becoming a dad.
And now he's not going to sleep. So
no, he's not going to sleep.
He won't get any sleep at all.
And spending a lot of time in our office because, well, I've got a daughter and Joe has 5. So, you know, between us, you know, he's like, all right, so what's this going to be really like? And I'm like, dude, I don't know why you're taking so much time off when the baby gets here because you're not going to be able to do anything.
Nothing.
You're just going to get in trouble. You're going to be at home and in trouble. Take a couple of days and then come to work. And then when she has to go back to work, that's when you take your time. Because right now, Sam, all you're going to do is get in trouble.
Yeah, but she would never go for that. Because he's got to be there for the, honey, can you get me this? Honey, can you get me that?
Mm-hmm.
Honey, I really need that. I got the baby here. Can you take care of that?
Yep.
So, yeah, he's got to be there.
It's Sam, come back to work, man.
You know, back when I
back in my day,
back when I had babies, you know, you didn't get like a father leave.
No.
Right? So you had to, which was kind of cool because I got up early. And so the baby would wake up and go, I got to get up early. And so, you know, you don't get up.
Well, that's when Erica was born. I was doing a morning show at the time.
Yeah.
So Erica literally was sleeping through our night at about 3 months.
Nice.
Well, because, I mean, I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So it wasn't, I can't speak for my wife, but it wasn't a big deal for me, right? Because we were used to getting up that early at that point.
Well, it's never a big deal for the guy.
There's nothing you can do.
There's nothing.
Although that's never the answer. When the baby's crying and hungry in the middle of the night, don't ever just say, there's nothing I can do, honey. You got to go.
Well, exactly.
That's a bad answer from experience. Don't answer it that way.
But it's so true, isn't it? Unless they've got little bottles from the pump in the refrigerator.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not what the baby wants at 3 a.m.
No.
And your nipple is worthless, guys. It really is in that case. But you can't say that and stay asleep. You can't.
I'm just glad that Sam's going through that.
And not you?
I'm not. Good luck, my friend.
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, it's crazy stuff happening over the weekend. And I know you got a lot of stories to tell from your Boston trip, but
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
It was a good weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No stories.
I mean, like what?
Well, I wasn't there. I don't know.
I mean, Foo Fighters were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um,
That was the new drummer.
he was great, and it felt and sounded like the Foo Fighters. It was from a concert experience. What was really weird about it, I know they played a show before this one. This was supposed to be their first show.
Yeah.
And they played a little 6,000 seat venue in New Hampshire 2 nights earlier. So that was technically the first show, but this was the first big show. And if you've ever been to big shows, you know that they're loud and they're crazy. And if you saw the aerial photos from Boston Calling, I don't know how many people were there, 80, 100,000, whatever it was, right? I've never seen a show that every time Dave Grohl started to talk, everybody got really quiet.
Really?
I mean, wanting to hear what he was going to say. What was he going to say about Taylor Hawkins? And he did some of that a little bit later on in the show, talking about how we wrote this one 23 years ago. It has a different meaning now, or Taylor's favorite song. And there was a lot of that, but normally crowds that big. I mean, lead singer starting to talk, and most of the time you don't hear what they're saying because everybody's still, it got really quiet. Everybody was kind of, what is Grohl going to say? And then, of course, when the music started, everybody was loud and partying again. But he would start to talk, and everybody got really quiet. It was very interesting from a concert experience with a crowd that size to have it get that quiet.
Yeah, with 80,000 people there.
At a concert, just kind of hanging on whatever story Grohl was going to tell in that moment.
Okay, now, Minix, you're a big shot, right? Money's no object. So
Yeah.
80,000 people there. Where were you?
I was in the VIP pit.
You see what I'm saying?
I was I was probably 15 deep back.
Wow.
Maybe, so yeah, it was, I was pretty close.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Getting out kind of sucked.
Who cares, right? I mean, geez, I knew you would drop some coin for that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You do festivals enough. It's the right way to say that. Always go VIP.
Sure.
Right?
Well, not everybody can do that.
Well, so you really can. You really can.
Uh-huh.
And there's one reason why, well, more than one reason, but the main reason why we started doing VIP at big festivals like this is because the better bathroom situation for your wife or your girlfriend.
Your wife.
Or quite frankly, for you.
How about for me?
Well, I mean, but again, when you're looking at prices, she decides the bathroom is worth the extra money for those tickets.
There's no question.
And a lot of times in VIP scenarios, like ACL's coming up, they've got better bathrooms, their own food and beer lines, which are always shorter, and sometimes merch lines in the VIP area, and the tickets really aren't that much more expensive. And although this festival wasn't, most festivals, the beer and food in the VIP is free.
Oh, wow.
You've already paid for it.
Nice.
So when you look at the cost of the regular ticket versus the VIP ticket, and if you're going to drink, a couple, 3 beers each, you've kind of split the difference already in the cost of the ticket.
A couple, 3 beers each. You want people to buy that?
Uh-huh. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, when you do the math, it works out in your favor in a lot of cases.
Well, that's good. That's good. I just know that, the bathroom these days is a necessity. When our engineer sets us up for a remote,
yes,
with that in mind, and I appreciate him for that, by the way. So it, in the commercial break, however long that happens to be, I can get there and back.
I will say the Boston Calling VIP situation was a bit of a disaster as far as some of the amenities, because there weren't enough bathrooms, trailers, those fancy trailers in the VIP area. So there were lines there, and the ladies took over 2 of the men's trailers.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, it was fine, except for, that created lines in a men's room where you normally don't have one.
Yeah, but guys can just go around the corner.
I mean, I'm just saying. Although it's still winter in Boston, by the way.
It's cold?
It's stupid cold.
Really?
It was nice in the day, 70. Sunday it was like 84, but it drops into the low 50s, upper 40s at night. with that wind coming off the water.
Dude, I'm sorry. That's why I live in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to do that.
I thought it was going to snow, to be honest.
Yeah, no.
We were walking from one bar. It was like the hotel's like 6 blocks away. It's like, we'll just walk. And that was a bad decision just because it was so cold.
And
seriously,
you weren't prepared for it.
I was not prepared for it. No.
Dude,
No.
You can
No,
have
when
that.
you don't take pants on vacation,
because
it's, I don't know, Memorial Day weekend.
Sure.
You don't think you need pants. You needed pants.
Yeah.
You know, my wife got a nice new hoodie because it was cold. See, I always take a nice half sip on planes because if I get cold on the plane, I'll be fine. So at least I had that. But yeah, it was stupid cold at night in Boston.
Nope. I will. I'll take San Antonio.
And Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. Nothing like being in a bar when the Celtics are playing. We'll talk about that and what happened in Beantown last night as Miami is moving on to the NBA Finals. We'll get into that as we continue here on the Blitz. You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
It's Rim Wrecking.
That's a grown man's jam!
Board busting.
Throws it down. Oh, what a dunk!
Big ballin' basketball.
Hammers it down.
That was nasty. It's the NBA Finals. Heat, Nuggets, for a shot at basketball's ultimate prize. Hear it as it happens on your home for the NBA playoffs.
Get out the way!
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I was in a terrible car accident. I suffered a traumatic brain injury and also injured my spine. My daughter-in-law called Jeff Davis. After expenses and attorney fees, I received $86,559. I want everyone in San Antonio to know Jeff was here for me.
I'm Jeff Davis. If you were injured by a car or large truck, call me at my San Antonio office at 444-4444. That's 444-4444. There's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Is it time for a new lawnmower? Visit our Crush the Summer sale at Bill's Tractor and Equipment. Bill's Tractor and Skag have teamed up to bring you incredible savings on residential and commercial mowers just in time for the summer season. Skag mowers are tougher than any job you could throw at them, tough and heavy. Skag is simply the best. 0% financing is available on select models with approved credit. Bill's Tractor has been helping Texans with their mower and equipment needs for over 35 years. Come by Bill's Tractor and test drive a new Skag mower or go to billstractor.com.
Joel, I'm proud to introduce my latest in-summer relaxation relief-cation. I call it the Quarter Moon Grill and Go. It's a stainless steel propane gas grill with this, a full-size urinal. If you're gonna grill and you gotta go, it's the Grill and Go.
Folks at Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC, we fix plumbing and AC issues fast and at a fair price. 210-651-5899.
Grill and
go away, Nigel. Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC.
License number M16004, DACLA 0007435E.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Tired of garage clutter? Garageization can organize your garage with cabinets, shelving, overhead racks, and more. Right now, buy 8 feet of shelving and get 4 feet free. Learn more at GarageOrganizationSanAntonio.com. GarageOrganizationSanAntonio.com.
When you're drinking a frozen beverage from McDonald's, your brain may not like how refreshingly cold it is. But the rest of your body, oh yes, it's gonna relish every moment of it. Because there are drinks. Then there are drinks from McDonald's.
There's no better way to cool down than with this cool deal. Get a medium frozen Coke, frozen Dr. Pepper, or frozen Fanta for just $1.79. Prices of participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Diamonds Direct takes our most popular offer ever up to the next level. Now, for a limited time, you can make any purchase and take advantage of special financing for up to 5 years, or get $5,000 off. Get the lowest possible monthly payment, or get a generous cash credit. It's all about giving you more. Design the ring of your dreams with our most flexible finance options and best savings ever offered. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
Hey guys, did you know June is Men's Health Month? Prioritize your health and address those issues you've been ignoring. Revive Men's Health San Antonio has guaranteed low T and ED solutions. Book your free exam and T-check today and save $199. And find out how you can get a free 1-month supply of custom ED medication. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com today.
Tomorrow on R&R in the Morning, who's standing out at Cowboys OTAs and who's set to have a breakout season? And we continue to get you ready for the NBA Finals. Heat versus Nuggets. Do you even care? Now back to the Blitz. Fellas, hope y'all had a great weekend and have a great show.
Appreciate you, Rudy J. Appreciate you sitting in for me on Friday out at Texas Cheer Liquor.
I'm not real happy about it. He won a bet.
It worked out well for him. Sampled some Blantons and then got a 6-pack to boot.
Dude, I'm going to tell you what, AD pulled out the good stuff Friday.
Yeah?
It was incredible. It really was.
You know, every time we've been out there, he pulls out good stuff.
Yeah, but this was like on
next
steroids.
Level good stuff?
Yeah. Gold edition Blantons. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
There's a gold edition Blantons?
Gold edition.
Huh.
It was incredible. Because we, obviously had to stick around and sample some of
Sure.
that,
Absolutely.
No, it was outstanding. So it was a lot of fun Friday.
Friday I was at Foo Fighters. So let's see. Thursday night, getting to Boston. Boston's in town Thursday night.
Yeah.
Did not go to the game. Nosebleed tickets, as I was looking in the door, upper deck end zone, were like $300.
Oh, wow.
We'll find a bar.
Yeah.
Found a good one. But the best was Saturday. J.J. Foley's, which is this old dive Irish pub that's been around since 1909. And the bar is set up as like Prohibition. I mean, it's, they have TVs in there, and I'm trying to watch a hockey game too. And they literally told me, no. They weren't going to put the hockey game on. He was nice about it, but it was typical East Coast attitude. So I'm watching hockey on my phone. The basketball game's going on. And the only thing I could relate this to, Joe, is when we were in Philadelphia last year for the Army-Navy game. Every Eagle fan that we encountered, drivers in Uber, the cars at restaurants, none of them believed that the Eagles were actually going to make a Super Bowl run. They kept waiting for Jalen Hurts to
I remember
mess
that.
up.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you and I were just blown away at the lack of confidence.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what it was like in Boston. Like these fans at this bar, this guy that was next to me was going nuts. And I mean, the bar's packed. I mean, you can barely move around in there because everybody's gathered around watching this.
Right.
They were down 0-3 and now they're going to force a game 7. And they were just going nuts. And then Derek White hits the shot and they're like, oh, great, game 7. They're just going to break our hearts. and we heard that on Saturday night after they won that game to keep the season alive, right? It was just that sense of, well, it's going to make the heartbreak that much worse.
Well, obviously it did. It did make the heart because somebody, Boston didn't show up, which is, pretty much par for the course for that Celtics team. They're either looking great or they suck. And last night they just happened to suck.
Well, and they did. And Jaylen Brown, I mean, and I don't know if that's the last time we'll see him in a Celtics uniform or not, but I mean, afterwards he was like, I let the whole city down.
I felt man, we let the whole city down.
I don't think you did, Jalen, because the city was ready for you to do that.
Yeah,
I mean, from what I could see, everybody was waiting for you guys to pee the bed, and you did.
Well, Jaylen Brown pretty much did that the entire series.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where he went. And, when Derek White is your best player, you're in trouble. Nothing against Derek White, but certainly in that game 6, I think it's, obviously he hits a game winner, but I mean, he kept Boston in that game. They did the lead, and then the Heat would come back. It was a really great game on Thursday night, but it should have been over then.
You look at the series, and Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, never won the lack for confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Although there were some times in there that his team, I mean, it's not like he was dominant in every game, but he said afterwards, man, there was just always belief that they were going to get this done.
I just know why Coach Pat and Coach Spo wanted me to be here, and that's to compete at a high level and to win championships. I know that the group that they put around me at all times is going to give me an opportunity to do so. So I was always very, very confident in that. I worked extremely hard with the team, with Brickley. I can score on Remy all day, every day, as I've posted on Instagram. So I'm just confident. I know the work that we all put into it, so I know what we're capable of. But nobody's satisfied. We haven't done anything. We don't play just to win the Eastern Conference. We play to win the whole thing.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. What's cool about Jimmy Butler is he guaranteed a game 6 win, and then he turned right around and guaranteed a game 7. So I guess he was half right. But I like that. And we talked about it on Friday. That it just, I love Jimmy Butler. A lot of people don't. I do, and I like the way that he is. And I tell you what, his leadership is what's carried this team to where they are today. And I believe it. If not for Jimmy Butler and just the things that he does, Miami's not here. They're not. You can talk about every other player on that team, but anybody that has any question about who the MVP of that series was, please don't. And I know they want to credit Caleb Martin, and he came up big.
He did.
And I love that, and that's all great. But Jimmy Butler is the heart and soul of that team.
And let's not forget, here in San Antonio, we're not supposed to like Caleb because he doesn't like us.
Yeah, I heard that.
Whatever. But, I mean, you look at the series, what they've gone through. It's impressive. In the be up 3-0 and unable to close it out, and for it to go to game 7. The stones that it takes. And then for Boston to come back and then 84 points is their lowest output of the entire year in the biggest moment. And I'm not buying a turned ankle set them back. Nobody on that team could shoot threes. That was a team that on that stage, the light that bright, they came up big time small. They just came up so small. Nothing was working.
And at home.
At home.
How do you do that? You lost 3 games at home during that Eastern Conference Final Series. That's unheard of.
I know what home court advantage is, all right, as I say this. You and I both, through our careers, have traveled around with the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
You go to any city and this deep in the playoffs, and that city is on fire.
Of course.
Right? Boston was not. Boston was, I mean, you would see some people wearing gear, but not everybody. Some people are talking about the game, but not everybody. I mean, it was just weird that there was a lack of playoff fever amongst the people when you're just walking around doing stuff in Boston.
Uh-huh.
And it's not like I was just doing all touristy stuff.
Right.
I mean, granted, I did go to the Cheers bar. It doesn't get more touristy than that. but even then.
I didn't get a mug, by the way. I was looking for it. Did you leave it at home?
I did.
Oh,
it's in the dishwasher.
Okay, I appreciate it. I'll look forward to it.
It will be in my freezer. Anytime you come over, one of the 2 Cheers mugs, oh, you want it for your freezer?
Well, yeah, I was kind of hoping, I mean, if I would have gone to Boston to the Cheers bar, I'd probably, hey, well, Jason would like this.
You would not.
Of course I would.
You would have said that, and they would have said, well, that's $13 extra for your beer.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have done that for you, but
You're
I
such
see
a
how you, I
liar.
see how you
You
are.
are such
I
a
get it.
liar.
I get it. I get it.
But I had to wash it first.
Mm-hmm.
Or Joanna did.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's in the dishwasher.
Anybody that knows you knows you're not washing anything.
No, I'm good at the dishes.
All right.
Laundry's another story.
Yeah, right.
But I'm good at the dishes.
Okay.
But
Well,
technically, it was I don't know how you are, but we come in, suitcases stay there. She empties everything, puts it in the washing machine, and then those cups that were in the suitcase ended up in the dishwasher. I saw them there this morning.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll look forward to it. Thank you, Jason.
Sure.
You're awesome, man.
Mm-hmm. Remind me tomorrow.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Last night, man, I had some great kielbasa sausage on the grill. Did something a little bit different. Sliced and put some cream cheese in there with some shredded cheese, wrapped them in bacon. Fantastic way to kick off the summer on Memorial Day. You want the best sausage for your grill. Kielbasa smoked sausage is what you've been looking for because, well, it's authentic sausage like you could find in butcher shops back in the old days. And it's because Kielbasa makes their legendary smoked sausage in small 150-pound batches with only fresh, high-quality ingredients, never frozen meat. They never add fillers or chemicals that you can't pronounce. Then it is smoked over real hardwood. Real smoke, honest meat, slow crafted. What they say is in their products is exactly what is in there. At Kielbasa, they are proud their ingredient list is short, straightforward, and doesn't require a PhD in chemistry to translate because the only way they can guarantee Kielbasa will be the best sausage you've ever eaten is by using only real hardwood with their uncompromising slow-crafted method, fresh spices, and yes, only honest meat. No fillers, no enhancers. If it's not the best sausage you've ever eaten, just give Michael Kielbasa a call and he'll give you your money back. His phone number is on the back of every package sold. Real smoke, honest meat, slow crafted. Go get some Kielbasa today.
Mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Xeljanz tofacitinib is a pill for adults with moderate to severe RA. When tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work, Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help stop further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers including lymphoma and lung, blood clots, serious heart-related events, tears in the stomach or intestines, and allergic reactions have happened. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors have an increased risk of death. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, are prone to infections, or have ever had a heart attack, stroke, clot, or other heart problems, or swelling of lips, tongue, throat, or hives. Ask your doctor about prescription Xeljanz. Visit Xeljanz.com or call 1-844-XELJANZ.
Turn your home into restricted airspace. Tell incoming flights you want them diverted. The new Raid Essentials light trap plugs into the wall and uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. Its 24/7 continuous attraction provides insecticide-free protection that's people and pet friendly. Consider air service interrupted. New Raid Essentials light trap, insecticide-free protection.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Nothing is everything.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch. Too, the customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Ribs, burgers, chicken. Submit what you grilled or smoked, and you could win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market.
So good and tasty.
Grilling with the Blitz. Joe Reinagel, Jason Minix, The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is The Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. You can always be a part of the show. You can tweet us at Joe Reinagel 210. Tweet at me at Jason Minix. Dial up or text the Kia Bossa Smoke Meats phone lines 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Or if you're watching on YouTube Live, you can always comment there. Make sure you subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel.
Yeah, please do that because we kind of get graded on that. It's nice. Doesn't cost you anything.
No.
Just subscribe.
No.
So it's nice, and you can watch us and do whatever you want. I mean, you know, if you guys are into stuff like that.
You know, it's always kind of cool when you send us photos on the social medias, when they have us up on like big televisions in your man cave. Somebody sent us, we were on in some sports bar, which, you know, I know all your years at Channel 5, you probably got that quite a bit. As radio guys, you don't. But it's kind of cool because, you know, a lot of times you get home and you feel like, well, once a listener gets home, they stop listening to the radio. But when you guys want to keep listening, when you say, man, I was in my driveway for 10 minutes waiting for the end of that conversation. That is the biggest compliment we can get.
Absolutely it is. And we appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that listens, that tunes in, whether that's in your car or at home or wherever you're at. Thank you.
And one of the topics that we get commented on a lot is the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Who?
Yeah, America's team.
Yeah.
America's team.
Uh-huh.
You know, and it's funny because this year, you know, it's May, right? It's still May, right?
It is, for just a little longer.
Super Bowl. And forever, that's been the topic, right? Cowboys are always going to the Super Bowl in the springtime, right?
Yeah.
This year, they might. This year. No, I mean, honestly, this year, this offseason has been so incredible. Even the national pundit types that generally want to hate all over the Dallas Cowboys, nothing but flowers for Jerry Jones and crew for putting together one of the better off seasons that the Dallas Cowboys can have in recent memory.
That's absolutely true. And I think everybody would agree that the Cowboys have done a good job this offseason. And we'll see what happens. Not to mention the fact that the NFC is weak. So there's a nice opportunity for the Cowboys to get out of the NFC this year, at least win a couple of playoff games. So that's good. But I mean, I hear this every May.
Well, but this
year it could happen.
But this year might be different.
This could be it.
Well, and again, their moves in the offseason, you can't find a negative, right? Bill Barnwell, you know, Mr. NFL guy over at ESPN, puts together a list on, I'm trying to, how he phrased it, but the teams with the best off seasons. And now, granted, they want clicks, so the headline reads something along the lines of Do the Cowboys have a case for number one? Well, okay, you can make that case, but the reality is they're not number one. Barnwell ranks NFL off seasons from first to worst. Dallas has a case for number one. Dallas isn't number one on the list, and quite frankly, nor should they be, although I do have a bone to pick with who he does have at number one, but I can laugh at the reasoning. Number one on the list, Washington.
That's because their owner is out.
Exactly. And you know what? Hard to argue with that.
Yeah, it really is. And that was a good thing. Problem is the Cowboys are third on this list, right?
Yep.
Washington's number one. Philly's number 4.
Mm-hmm.
So that division's going to be tough again.
And Dallas is at number 3. Miami at 2.
Yeah.
And again, what the Cowboys have done this offseason has been incredible. Keep in mind, while Philadelphia is at number 4, there hasn't been a repeat winner in the NFC East in a gazillion years.
Yeah.
Right? So the numbers probably say that the Eagles aren't going to go back-to-back as NFC East champions.
Well, I mean, history would justify that or back you up on that for sure.
But then again, there's always going to be a time when finally somebody is actually going to win back-to-back NFC East champions. Just the Cowboy fan in me hopes not this year.
We thought history was going to be made last night too, and Boston, wet the bed there, so they didn't get it done. But you're right. I think eventually somebody's going to. Look, Philly's going to be tough again. Dallas is going to be tough. The Giants are better, and I think Washington's going to be better. That division, and I'm happy about it because when the NFC East is good, I think everybody likes that.
It is better when it's NFC Beast as opposed to NFC Least.
I agree.
But
Makes it exciting.
When I look at the Dallas Cowboys and the offseason that they have had, because they're doing this year what we said we wanted them to do last year, and that's go all in for a Super Bowl. I mean, put all your chips to the middle of the table. And I'm curious, because I know what I think, and I'm curious what you guys think. If the Cowboys go all in, say, try to go get a DeAndre Hopkins who's available. They don't need him. It'd be a luxury pick. Depth at wide receiver is one thing, but if you're all in, go all in. Right?
Sure, right.
If that puts them in cap hell, you win that Super Bowl, but then you have a year like what the Rams had, a team that went all in and won, but last year they weren't a playoff team. Last year, a lot of those, are you willing to trade that?
I would be. I mean, especially since it's been so long since, you've even had a Super Bowl appearance, much less win one. I mean, you could even talk about NFC Championship game. So, yeah, I would. And I think Cowboy fan would be okay with that. Look, one of the worst things, I think, especially in pro football, is, we're building for, continued success. Well, you can say the Cowboys have been successful at that.
Sure.
If regular season success is what matters to you, then the Cowboys are a success.
Yes.
It's the
and
playoffs.
The answer is no.
And the Super Bowl, and that is what matters. And so, look, what they've been doing hadn't been working, at least in the playoffs. You might as well try something else.
I look at what the Dallas Cowboys should be doing, right? And I know you hear one thing from Jerry, you hear another thing from Steven. You realize Steven's a little bit more on the business side, maybe a little bit more sensible. Although Jerry has said how many times, the check I'd write for a Super Bowl would be upset. Sure, salary cap keeps you from doing that. Would you rather be in, and it's easy to say beforehand, but would you rather be in salary cap hell for 2 or 3 years after you hoist a Lombardi trophy?
Yes. The answer is an easy yes.
Easy to say that before, maybe not as much after. But I look at, I know you're not a hockey fan, and this might get lost on a lot of you, but go and look at what the Las Vegas Knights have done, the Golden Knights, since they joined the NHL. They're going to the Stanley Cup Finals for the second time. They've been around 6 years. Why? Because their owner goes all in every year. And their GM said last night on the broadcast while they were kicking the crap out of the Dallas Stars, they were talking about, their GM, man, everybody hates them in the league because the way they do business, because they don't do it in a sensible way. but it works.
It works. Who cares? And,
exactly.
I mean, who cares? You go all in. That's what's happening in the NFL right now. You go all in, you put your cards on the table, and you try to win. Then you reshuffle the deck the next year and take your chances. But who cares? That's why I go back to what, and I know it worked out. It did. But even when we're talking NBA, we're talking Spurs, we're talking whatever. Nobody wants to sit through misery. It worked out, granted, and I'm happy that it worked out, but nobody wants to do that. Nobody.
And again, you can sit through misery if you when you get a Wemby, right? For San Antonio, it worked. For the Cowboys, if you're this close, all the signs are pointing in the right direction. And a Hopkins is out there.
Mm-hmm.
You've already had a great offseason. You could say we don't need a D-Hop. Too expensive. Salary cap. We got to pay Micah down the road. We got to pay all these guys. Or do you just say, screw it, let's go all in? Let's go all in right now. Do what the Rams did. Let's bring in this guy.
Tampa
Let's bring
Bay.
in that guy. Let's bring in that guy. Tampa Bay did the same thing. And it got them a Super Bowl. Now they got a Baker Mayfield, and the future's not so bright. But, man, they had that Super Bowl. How
did.
much is that worth to you?
Everything. If you're asking me, I don't know how everybody else feels about that. But, I mean, look, maybe it was easier to swallow with the Spurs because it hasn't been that long ago.
Sure.
If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, it's been 30 years. I mean, my goodness, almost 30 years. You got to do whatever it takes, don't you, to get your fans another trophy. And it looks like the Cowboys are at least trying to do that. Now, is DeAndre Hopkins the guy? I don't know, Jason. And obviously having that guy on the team is going to make any offense better. But you got to do what you got to do. And if you think that would help you, if that's the piece that puts you over the mountaintop, then go do it. Whatever it takes.
I look at a DeAndre Hopkins, and look, there's a lot of different places this guy could land, and they all would make sense. Whether you're looking at Kansas City, whether you're looking at Cleveland, Deshaun Watson wants him.
Yes, of course he does.
There's the video that everybody has seen where he talks about 5 places. Dallas isn't one of them.
And a really goofy look on his face when he's asked about Dak Prescott.
And you could look at that and say, was that because Dallas has already passed on him? At least on the trade market when Arizona was trying to trade him.
Everybody passed on him.
And everybody did. But at the time, he was working out in Dallas with Dez. But he said on a podcast last week, and I'm paraphrasing, he said he wants to go to a place where the quarterback loves the game. We know Dak loves the game of football. He wants to go somewhere where there's stable management. There hasn't been change in the Cowboys front office in over 30 years. Stable is, well, define stable. And play where there's a great defense.
Yeah.
Well, with what Dallas has done at defense, the Cowboys do check all of the boxes that Hopkins has laid out there. There's also a report in Sports Illustrated that says sources say he can't run anymore, doesn't have the same speed. Well, with the Brandon Cooks on the roster, it's not like you need D-Hop to stretch the field anymore. So, and wherever he goes, unless it's Kansas City, he's probably going to be the number 2 option anyway, not the number 1.
Kansas City. Why would that be the number 2 option?
Other than Kansas City.
Oh, you're right.
Other than
right.
Kansas
Okay.
City, every other team that's been linked to D-Hop has a bona fide number 1.
I agree with that. What D-Hop can still do for you is get first downs, catch that clutch pass, because he's going to catch the football if it's anywhere near him. He's not going to Dallas. He's not. And now I think the OBJ deal, according to Sports Illustrated, has kind of screwed everything up because they suggest that there were a couple of offers on the table from Buffalo and Kansas City, but when D-Hop saw what OBJ got, he wanted that too. So, a lot of those, and are you going to pay D-Hop $15 million?
He represents himself, doesn't he?
I don't think so.
I think he's another one that represents himself.
D-Hop?
Yeah.
I'd have to look in that. I don't know the answer to that.
Could be a problem.
Could be.
Could be a problem. You know what else is a problem?
What's that?
Burner Twitter accounts.
Can be.
Especially if you're an NBA referee. and all you do on your burner is defend yourself. Easy to get caught. We'll explain as we continue on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you are a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. You want your logo on a nice golf shirt, a fishing shirt, Sam will get you taken care of. Maybe a nice dress shirt with your logo on it. If you need T-shirts, screen printed, go see Sam. If you need caps, man, Sam has over 12,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, including the popular Richardson 112 style trucker caps. Sam has over 700 uniform lines to choose from, all kinds of industries. Nobody has better prices. Sammy has all the big name brands: Eddie Bauer, North Face, Nike, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, to name a few. He's the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big. You need one, you need a dozen, you need 10,000 items. Sam will get you taken care of. Call Sammy's Embroidery and Printing, 210-824-3900, 824-3900, or better yet, go by that massive showroom down on San Pedro, a mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
It's R&R in the morning, tomorrow at 6.
Tomorrow on R&R in the morning, we continue to break down the finals, but do you even care?
The Dallas Cowboys had some eye-opening performers in the OTAs. We'll tell you who they were. The party starts at 6.
R&R in the morning, tomorrow at 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh, yeah. Love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. You know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Looking for a protein-packed snack to power you through the day? Of course you are. Only Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors you crave. Spicy dill, Korean kimchi, pasilla chili cheese, and more. Take your snacking to a whole new level with Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. And keto fans, you're going to love this low-carb crunch. Get yours at H-E-B and online at southernrecipesmallbatch.com.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
It's patio season, so get over to the Rue Pub at 281 and Redland Road to enjoy the great South Texas weather. As always, ice-cold beer and specialty drinks, happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6, and the kitchen is open late until 2 a.m. every day. Add the Rue Pub into your lunch rotation with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. You know there is no better place to watch a game, and they always have all the fights. The Rue Pub, next to the Angry Elephant, 281 and Redland Road. We'll see you at the Rue.
Diamonds Direct takes our most popular offer ever up to the next level. Now, for a limited time, you can make any purchase and take advantage of special financing for up to 5 years, or get $5,000 off. Get the lowest possible monthly payment, or get a generous cash credit. It's all about giving you more. Design the ring of your dreams with our most flexible finance options and best savings ever offered. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
With summer savings at the Home Depot, we'll get your kitchen clicking with top brand appliances like a new GE refrigerator with internal water dispenser for a crisp, cool glass of water every time, or a GE oven with built-in air fryer for healthier, crispier options with no preheating. Plus, with convenient shopping in-store and online at the Home Depot, your innovative new appliances are just a click away, too. Save up to 30% on select appliances plus $300 off select refrigerators at the Home Depot. Pricing valid May 18th through June 7th, 2023. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is a bacon or sausage egg croissant plus small seasoned potatoes for $3. It's the breakfast that don't miss. So if you did miss Wendy's breakfast, don't imagine fresh cracked eggs, sizzling sausage, crispy bacon, and block out those hot, buttery, flaky croissants. Croissants don't really make a sound, but if they did, for a breakfast that don't miss, Wendy's is that breakfast. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Select a request $3 breakfast deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders.
16 teams.
And slams it down.
Down to 2.
Watching the replay. Oh my God.
The NBA Finals are on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Should I keep it live? Is that right?
I have no idea what he said. Tim Spence just popped his head into the door, said something, and walked out, but neither one of us know what he said. I think it was taking a shot at your Cardinals.
Yeah, he was, just because, well, his mind is diluted as a Cubs fan. That's just what happens.
Well, and he's hungry. I mean, he lost that, or he won that bet with Michael Jimenez, that Jimenez is supposed to bring him lunch. So apparently he's not eating until Jimenez actually shows up to deliver, which means he can't do a show either because, when you're starving, your mind doesn't work right.
Well, I must have missed that. So Jimenez still has not paid up that bet?
He still has not paid up that bet.
That's just
it's BS.
It is.
It's total crap.
Because I am paying my bet off to Rudy J. It will be here for him when he gets here in the morning.
Now, leaving a 6-pack of beer. I mean, look, Spence hasn't eaten, but he can certainly drink.
Well, it won't take him long if he hasn't eaten to get a nice little buzz going. But I'm paying off my bet. I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to exactly where it is. And the usual suspects, James Pledger, Tim Spence. I don't know.
You got to worry about those morning guys.
Not here.
Sam isn't here, but Trey Ware gets here about midnight to start getting ready for his morning show over on KTSA. So you never know. By the way, to clarify, DeAndre Hopkins recently hired at Kelton Crenshaw from Clutch Sports.
Well, there you go.
So he was representing himself and then realized that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I thought, but he's going to have to come off of that, I guess. Although I'll be honest with you. Until I heard what I heard today about him not, maybe not being able to run, he's lost a step. I would have much rather had him over OBJ. And so if the Ravens paid OBJ at $15 million, to me, they overpaid for the guy.
They did, but man, they got desperate trying to get a deal done with Lamar.
I guess.
And desperate people do desperate things like get a burner account. Now, it's hard enough to keep up with one. Right. And then, they're like, hey, can you tweet too from the station account? Dude, it's too much for me. I don't know. I'm not good at it. So I can't imagine all these people with burner accounts, especially when it comes to Twitter. But longtime NBA referee Eric Lewis may or may not have a burner account for Twitter. Although he uses said burner account to defend himself and other NBA refs. And so fans noticed that a burner account at Cutliff Blair was always defending NBA refs, especially Eric Lewis. And as soon as he gets called out for it, the account has been deleted.
Oh, I don't understand what the problem is. I mean, if you want to defend yourself, get a burner account, defend yourself. I mean,
so the NBA has a rule against publicly commenting on things without permission. So LeBron James even tweets out, this Eric Lewis poop emoji, true, ? Patrick Beverly, who got teed up one time for grabbing a photographer's camera to show Eric Lewis how badly he missed a call, he tweets, "Dude laughed at me when I grabbed the camera." Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess rules are rules, but
19 years in the NBA.
I just don't get it.
And you
what's
have
the
a
big deal?
Burner account for
I don't see the big deal.
I would imagine you get on the plane after a game and you look up and everybody's complaining about the officials. You want to defend yourself.
Well, everybody's going to complain about the officials regardless.
Uh-huh.
If your team lost, the officials obviously screwed you. That's the way it works.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't matter whether they did or not. The perception is they did because your team lost.
Eric Lewis, a lot of people use burner accounts for a lot of things. If you lose your job over this.
Yes.
19 years. You're close to the gold watch, man. You've got almost 1,100 regular season games under your belt and 82 playoff games, according to your NBA bio.
And a burner account might take him down.
And a burner account. I don't know what the penalty is for having a burner account when you're an NBA referee, but the fact that we're talking about it.
Slap on the wrist and a fine. Nothing to it.
Rudolph Gonzalez on the YouTube channel, the SA Sports Star YouTube channel. KD's next move, be a ref. See KD and his burner accounts?
Yeah. But he can do it, but the ref can't.
Well, I mean, he's doing it for other reasons.
What, to cry into more people?
Or to prop yourself up and look good.
I guess so.
I don't know. It's sliding into somebody's DMs.
This is The Blitz. KTFM Floresville and always at ESPNSA.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Golden State is losing a big piece of their puzzle. His name is Bob Myers. He's two-time Executive of the Year. He's the architect of their 4 NBA championships. He says today he is stepping down as president and general manager. A couple of NBA head coaching vacancies filled over the weekend. Milwaukee Bucks have hired Adrian Griffin. The other hire was Nick Nurse, who will now lead the Philadelphia 76ers. The Blitz continues right now.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. It's a Tuesday, though it feels like a Monday.
It sure does. It's felt like Monday all day today.
It's a short week.
I like that.
Which we all like.
Of course. We got NBA Finals finally coming. Does anybody care?
Sure.
Yeah?
Although
I care. I know you care.
And I think people will care because there's we're at that time of the year, guys. Thursday is game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Stanley Cup Finals start on Saturday.
Okay, well, really nobody cares about that.
Bite me. So, but like tonight, the Rangers, they play like at 6. Astros play at 7.
Right.
This is the time of year where you either catch up on the DVR, starts binge watching shows, and chances are she's making the decisions because you can't say there's a big game on.
No, you can't. I mean, that's it. And I was fortunate last night, Maggie. We were sitting out on the patio and watched the game, and she got into it a little bit. And I'm telling her, honey, I got to know what happened.
That's it.
And she's cool. She's cool.
It's work.
So it worked out well. But you're right. Like tonight, what am I going to say? I got nothing.
Well, and you didn't watch Succession, right?
No, I didn't.
So I finally caught up on that yesterday. Caught the season finale, which was phenomenal.
I'm sure it was.
I mean, for 4 years, I think it set ratings records. I was reading that and the end of Barry, which I didn't watch, but Succession wrapped up in huge numbers. And, sometimes these series, they wrap up and they don't wrap up and end nicely. They don't end well. This Succession ended strong, but still leaves you with so many questions on what to guess the future would be if the series was going to continue.
Well,
So,
it's going to. Isn't
no, it's over. That was it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Succession series finale done.
Look, if they left you with questions or a path forward, there's going to be more.
No, that's what makes a good wrap up.
Yeah, whatever. There will be more.
No, it's over. It's done. It's like series finale. It's like Sopranos, the way it ended.
Okay,
Boom,
we'll
over.
see. That could be a beer bet in the future. I promise you.
Dude,
because
just buy me the beer now. I'll take Rudy J's because they said it was it. That's it. It's done.
Well, they said it was it. What are they? The most honest people on the planet?
Hollywood types?
Exactly. Are you kidding me?
You didn't even watch the show.
No, I didn't.
But a good wrap up of a series finale, not a season finale, but the series finale should leave you with some questions, wondering what if.
And they will answer those questions when the series resumes.
It's just, you make it up in your head and you go with it.
They'll do it.
That's it. That's the theory.
And what was the name of that where it was goofy? And it slips my mind right now. But they were all kids and they were chasing aliens and monsters. And the hell was the name of that, Pledge?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, right? So it's been like, I don't know, a few years. Those kids are going to be grandparents.
Yeah.
But it's coming back.
Yeah.
I've already seen, you get stories of these kids now. They're getting married and doing all this stuff. And that was good. I mean, I enjoyed that. But it's coming back.
Is Ted Lasso coming back too, or is that one done
It's supposed to be done.
Is this week the last episode of Ted Lasso?
Let me look in the TV guide real quick.
Do you still get that in the mail?
No, I don't.
Let's do the headline blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
Time for the headline blitz. The Philadelphia 76ers have a new head coach. Nick Nurse gets the job. Interesting hire because the dude just got fired in Toronto, was up for the Milwaukee job, didn't get that, up for the Phoenix job, and up for the Philadelphia job. So did he choose Joel Embiid over Devin Booker and Kevin Durant?
I don't know.
Did he choose Joel Embiid over Giannis?
No.
Even though Milwaukee filled that job first, you have to wonder because Nick Nurse was the leading candidate for all of them, which made the Milwaukee announcement a little bit of a surprise.
What you got to look at, though, Adrian Griffin was on Nick Nurse's staff in Toronto.
Yeah.
And so, you got to figure the Nick Nurse family did very well when it comes to head coaching jobs. And I don't know. I think if you're Nick Nurse, you're kind of a East Coast kind of guy, right? You were in Toronto for a long time. You stay there in Philly. There's a lot of talent there, obviously, that Doc Rivers couldn't seem to figure out the puzzle pieces, if you will. I think Adrian Griffin will be great in Milwaukee. I mean, he was a hell of a player. And apparently, by all estimations, he was a pretty good coach, too. So it's going to be interesting to see.
So what do you have? Detroit still open, right?
You got Phoenix is still open.
In Toronto?
Huh. And the usual suspects are out there.
Where does Doc Rivers want to live?
Wouldn't that be funny? If Rivers goes to Toronto, they just switch places.
Again, do you want to live in Toronto or do you want to live by a golf course in Phoenix?
Well, I'd much rather do that, but that might not be his choice. Look, I don't know, and I'll be totally honest, no respect. I like Doc Rivers, but I mean, he needs to take a couple of years off.
A couple of years off, and you're never getting another job.
Well, look, I mean, he hasn't been able to do anything. He just his record is not good when it comes to playoffs,
especially Game 7.
Yes, so he needs to take at least a year off. Go back to TV. He was good on TV.
He was good on TV.
He was.
He was good on television, but the paychecks are better on the bench.
Well, sure they are, but I mean, at some point in time, even owners kind of, are smarter than the average bear. And Doc Rivers doesn't get it done.
He doesn't get it done yet. You get fired and you're immediately the leading candidate for the next job, just like Nick Nurse. You get fired and now you've got this job. That's just how it works.
I think Nick Nurse was a good coach. Probably should have never been fired in Toronto.
What about Coach Bud?
Haven't heard anything on Bud.
Coach Bud, you there? Coach? Why is his name not circling around like all these others?
Well, he was an interview prospect for Philadelphia. I think Phoenix as well. So he may land one of those. I think Bud would be great in Phoenix. I don't know how he handles, Kevin Durant, but I think Bud would be good there.
I just look at Phoenix, their new ownership group or dude. I just really like Devin Booker. You add in a Kevin Durant, figure out what you can get for DeAndre Ayton, and you've got all the pieces there in Phoenix. And with Wemby coming to San Antonio, a shorter window than what Phoenix probably thought they had. I like the Phoenix job. Although kind of surprised they haven't been able to get it done, but that's also a reason why they are looking for another head coach, somebody that can put them over the top. Now, a guy that has gotten it done from the GM level, not really a surprise because it's been talked about so much, but Bob Myers officially stepping down as the general manager of the Warriors, 11 years, 4 titles, and he has put that whole thing together, right? I mean, this is his baby, and his reason, it's time. What does that mean? You're 48 years old, and publicly you're saying you have no idea what your next professional step is going to be. Now, granted, you've made a whole lot of money. You're going to be a well-sought-after executive, probably in multiple sports, or could it be part of an ownership group somewhere in multiple sports? Can almost go do anything. I mean, this guy is so well respected throughout, but and possibly even like front league office, maybe next commissioner type level of respect around the sports world.
You just answered your own question. The guy's 48 years old, doesn't want to be, planted down in an office doing NBA type stuff. He's made a lot of money. He's got a terrific resume. Go out and enjoy yourself. You're not going to be unemployed long if you don't want to be. So, hey, why not? Sometimes a change of scenery is the best thing for anybody. And he knows, look, I mean, I think the writing's on the wall at Golden State. I mean,
he doesn't want the crash.
It's
to be on his resume.
Sure.
Their luxury tax. What are they going to do with this? What are they going to do with that? Is their championship window closed?
Absolutely. I think it is.
Bailing at the right time?
Although if you have Steph Curry, you still have a pretty good opportunity if you put some pieces around him. But I don't think Draymond will be back there.
But Draymond says he wants to be back.
Klay Thompson looked like he was done. I mean, he did.
And you owe him so much money.
He looked like he was just talk about a career over.
And quite frankly, they've missed on some draft picks recently. Some of those high draft picks that they've had just haven't quite developed or been the players that we all thought that they were going to be coming out. So interesting times. And like I said, a bit of a surprise with, although not really because it was talked about his future quite a bit, but for him to actually say, you know what, I'm walking away from this. It's just with no plan in place, publicly anyway, it's just kind of weird to see somebody at that level say, all right, I'm done.
I just wish, most people wish they had that type of resume, that type of success, that type of stuff where you could do that and say, hey, I'm just going to step away for a little while. And, his phone's going to be ringing off the hook.
Being a coach, being a GM's like being a radio or TV guy. It's not a matter of when or if, it's when you get fired in this business. Very few people in this business get to walk away when they feel like it's time.
True.
Normally somebody tells you it's time and you disagree with it in the moment.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I got a lot left in the tank.
No, you don't. At least not here.
So
here's a box.
Well, it is fun. And I will say this, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but it's fun to say when.
Yes.
And not be told when.
Hey, you did that.
I did that.
Yeah.
So it was good. Now, so far, nobody's told me to leave here yet.
No.
So that's a good thing.
No, but when you show up, if there's an old paper box that, at one point had paper in it, 'cause you don't get a new box. You get one of those old boxes that had reams of paper.
They're the worst.
You walk in and you see reams of paper just sitting on the counter by the copier. You realize somebody's about to get called into the office.
The worst, dude, at least at the TV station, was the fact that You walk in the door and there's somebody there to greet you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to walk you to your desk, get the box, and you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything else, we'll give it to you.
Yeah. Leave an address.
Yeah,
We'll charge you
exactly.
shipping, though.
Woo!
Part of it. So Jimmy G, big Raiders, new quarterback.
Talk about a bizarre story.
He's got a foot issue?
Well, he hurt his foot. And apparently some doctor told him he didn't need surgery. It would heal.
Uh-huh.
Well, that might not be the case. He needed surgery. Didn't pass his physical.
Uh-oh.
And apparently the Raiders have taken away his signing bonus. But then
who's in their ownership?
Out of the clear blue sky, you got TB12.
Huh. How about that?
How about that?
Player owner.
Wouldn't that be something if Tom Brady did it to Jimmy G again?
Is he allowed to do that?
Tom Brady do whatever the hell he wants. I mean, he can be whatever the hell he wants.
He really can. It's nuts.
Yeah.
This whole Jimmy G situation. Although it does kind of feel like his foot should be fine for training camp.
I suppose, but if he would have, the story I was reading, if he would have gotten surgery in December, then everything would have been fine and he's ready to roll. But he was told he didn't need it.
And such a short window, the Raiders knew, put in a clause, but that was the quarterback they wanted to go get.
Yeah.
Damaged goods or not, here's the lemon law clause.
Now, see, I wonder, didn't Jimmy G have a NIL deal with the House of Ill Repute there in Vegas?
The Bunny Ranch?
Now, I wonder how much he owes them because he was probably putting it on his tab.
Well, actually none, because wasn't it he could go there for free anytime he wanted?
Well, I know, but
wasn't that the deal?
If he's not going to play,
well, I mean,
they may want their money back.
Well, with the NIL, there's no expectation of performance. That's part of the deal with the NIL.
That's another story. That's what we'd have to ask the workers there. I don't know how his performance
that's part of the NIL.
Yeah.
For the college kids, I mean, we can give you money, but you can't put incentives on performance. You're just there. Well, I mean, but he doesn't have a tab at the Bunny Ranch because it was free anytime he went there, minus tips.
Yeah, but somebody was paying for that. I mean, if you're
the Bunny Ranch was.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're the Bunny Ranch, I mean, it's like false advertisement. Well, you think he's going to be the quarterback?
He's still the quarterback. I mean, while he is there, he still has a contract with the Raiders to be the quarterback. Now, we don't know that he's taken the Bunny Ranch up on their offerings.
Now, I wonder if Jimmy G's in the back of a taxi cab on a TV there, saying, hey, while you're in Las Vegas, go to the place that I go to, the Bunny Ranch. The service is phenomenal. Ask for Cindy.
I don't know, but if I'm the Bunny Ranch, I'm putting a foot fetish special on, calling it the Jimmy G.
See, now that's the all-American way right there.
Figure out how to
situation into a good one.
Exactly.
Yes,
that's what you have to do.
The Jimmy G foot special.
It'll break you.
It might.
It's the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. If you're thinking about how to secure the value of your assets, grow your wealth, diversify your portfolio, you need to think gold. NobleGoldInvestments.com. Go to that website. I did. It's pretty easy, even if you don't know how to buy gold, because they'll walk you through it. NobleGoldInvestments.com. They'll email you their gold and silver investors guide. When you call, you walk through everything. Very easy to do that transaction, buy some gold, and make sure you're securing part of your future. It's a safe investment to secure your wealth, especially if you're doing long-term planning. You think about the latest bank failures, the economic news about devaluing the dollar. That's why you need to diversify. Look into gold. All you need to do is go look at what the price of gold was, say, in 1970 up until today. Back then, it was about $35 an ounce. Go look at what the price of gold was for an ounce 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Don't wish you did this down the road. Take the time today to go to the website, NobleGoldInvestments.com. Use promo code STAR for a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin that they're offering people that qualify. NobleGoldInvestments.com. Mark it down to do today. NobleGoldInvestments.com.
It's Rim Wrecking.
That's a grown man's jam.
Board busting.
Throws it down. Oh, what a dunk.
Big ballin' basketball.
Hammers it down.
Oh, nasty. It's the NBA Finals. Heat, Nuggets, for a shot at basketball's ultimate prize. Hear it as it happens on your home for the NBA playoffs.
Get out the way.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked, classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
The Golf Club of Texas has some of the best course conditions with the friendliest staff. The golf is great. They have a lighted driving range and practice area. While it feels like a country club, it's not a private club. It's open to the public, so bring the family into the 10 Cup Bar. It's the nicest sit-down restaurant in that area of SA, specializing in Texas food, wine, and spirits. For golf or dinner, go to Golf Club of Texas off Highway 90, online at golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
Tired of garage clutter? Garagization can organize your garage with cabinets, shelving, overhead racks, and more. Right now, buy 8 feet of shelving and get 4 feet free. Learn more at GarageOrganizationSanAntonio.com. GarageOrganizationSanAntonio.com.
Hey everyone, Michael Kielbasa here with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Since 1949, we've made our sausage with real smoke and honest meat to create our uncompromising slow method to craft that famous mouth-watering kielbasa experience. I hope that when you see our product, you pick it up, take it home, and try it. And if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back, guaranteed. Find Kielbasa Smoked Meats in a store near you today.
Hi there, I'm Dwayne Sharping, owner of Roof Fix. We understand how stressful it is dealing with storm damage. That's why we're offering a special deductible relief program up to $2,500 that you can use towards your deductible. Plus, our relief program also includes 0 down, 0 interest, 0 payments for 6 months with approved credit.
Call Roof Fix today at 210-FIX-ROOF or visit their website at rooffixsa.com.
Roof Fix, home of the low price guarantee.
Tomorrow on R&R in the morning, we're getting you ready for the finals. 4 players that opened eyes at the Cowboys OTAs. And we're going to talk some SEC NIL money. It's splintering the conference. Now back to the Blitz. Jason, say it with me. I parked my car in the yard next to the car.
Dude, had a lot of lobster and chowder.
How was it, by the way?
You know,
not the lobster, because I don't care. I'm not a lobster guy, but the chowder I like.
The chowder was good. I had chowder everywhere. In Boston, you know, my wife, she kind of went through, had a lobster roll, which was good. We were at this one place, and I thought about doing the lobster mac and cheese, and I didn't. And then I wish I would have, because just for the presentation, like the picture for the gram would have been fantastic, because literally they stuff the macaroni in the lobster and bring the whole damn lobster out to you, stuffed with macaroni on the plate. It looked cool. I don't know if it was good or not.
Well, I hope they killed that poor lobster first.
No, it moves around. I mean, that's part of the excitement.
I'm just wondering, you know, you start stuffing this dude with
with macaroni, but when it's crawling around on the table, I mean, it just adds to the excitement of your dining experience.
Well, especially because that macaroni's still hard.
No, it's cooked.
No, but then you throw the lobster in the boiling water and everything cooks.
So, but honestly, some of the best. The seafood was fantastic. And everything you would expect in Boston. The Italian food that we had. We went to this place in I don't know, Campanetti's or something like that.
That Campanetti's, I've heard of.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Italian, the Sicilian food. It was just incredible. Like when we go back for Army Navy game, I'm going to be less inclined to go find seafood and more inclined to go find more of the great Italian food in Boston.
So what does the Sicilian add to it? What's the?
I mean, I don't know.
It was just good. Damn it!
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Well, and again, in the Northeast, which very different than what we have here. All these buildings, all these restaurants, they're all old and they've been around forever. So we're two. So they're like, well, you can wait for a table or sit at the bar, but if you get a table, there's two. You're going to sit with people that you don't know.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because, I mean, they're using every seat there. So we're sitting at the bar, and the kitchen is right there on the other side of the bar. We're watching these guys cook the entire time. And, like, I order, and then I'm thinking, well, what are they having? Damn, that looks good, too. What are they having? That looks good. It was just the Italian food in Boston. I wasn't expecting it to be what I was eating. It was fantastic.
So that's cool. It's always good to go places like that and visit new, different stuff. So good for you, man. Glad you had a good time.
Yeah, we ate well, I can say that.
Well, that's good.
And we drank a lot.
You should.
Yes.
Well, I knew that was happening.
Yes.
That's good.
Where does DeAndre Hopkins land? Are you surprised that as we sit here now that he does not yet have a team? And does it make you say why? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can call or text the Kia Bosses Smoke Meats phone lines or on Twitter at Joe Reinagle 210. You can tweet at me at Jason Minix. I'd love to say Cowboys, and the Cowboys don't necessarily need them. It would be a luxury item. But if you're all in and you're the Cowboys, go get D-Hop. But in reality, there's other landing spots that make more sense. But honestly, I'm surprised that we're sitting here 3-4 days after he was released, and there's no team yet.
No team, but I'm seeing today that it was just made official. So maybe that made a difference. Could you not talk to him until then? I don't know. But look, somebody's going to get this guy. It's all a matter of money. What does he want money-wise? If he wants OBJ money, it may take a lot longer because a lot of the teams, Buffalo in particular, was trying to structure a deal for D-Hop that was very incentive-laden, right? Not that you could make a lot of money if you reach these goals. Kansas City's probably the same way. But look, when push comes to shove, the Kansas City Chiefs, of all the teams, even though they're the Super Bowl champs, could probably benefit from a Hopkins more than anybody else.
One of the things might just honestly be that D-Hop didn't have an agent until apparently today when he hired, according to Ian Rappaport, hiring Kelton Crenshaw out of Clutch Sports. A lot of teams don't like to deal with players that don't have a certified agent. I was reading over the weekend that a lot of these players, they'll have an email account, and teams don't know if they're emailing the player or not because sometimes you get emails from the player while he's on the practice field, and you look out and you go, well, how did that happen? Because even though they don't necessarily have a certified agent, they have somebody that is helping them, whether it be a lawyer, a friend, an attorney, but not a certified player agent. And it is a very big rule in the NFL world to negotiate with somebody that is not. So most teams aren't willing to take the punishment when you don't have an agent. The fact that Hopkins went and hired an agent tells me the conversations weren't going the way D-Hop thought they were going to go. And there's a report in Sports Illustrated today that several sources say he can't run anymore. So if he's lost a step or two, is that a reason why the Cardinals couldn't get a bag of chips for him? Because teams looked at his salary, looked at his medicals, and said, not worth it.
Yeah, all of the above. I don't know if it's not worth it because DeAndre
At
Hopkins,
$20 million per if they were doing a trade.
Now that's it, and they weren't going to trade. And plus, the Cardinals wanted draft picks too, so that wasn't going to happen. They're forced to release him. Look, that hurt the Cardinals. I think it costed them about $22 million in cap money or dead cap.
Yeah.
So that hurt them. They wanted to get a trade done, couldn't get it done. But now that he's on the open market, the question is going to become a couple of things, actually. Will he take a team-friendly deal, number one? And number two, he's going to have to probably go work out for these teams. At least I would insist on that if I'm a general manager or one of the teams that's interested in him. Look, you got to work out. I got to see what you got because I haven't seen him play in a while.
Well,
and he's 31 years old.
And you look at, will he have to take a 1-year prove it kind of deal? Or is he, I mean, it worked out for OBJ. OBJ at one point looked like he was willing to take a prove it deal for 1 year. Then, he had the tweet, look, I never said 20, but 3 ain't going to work.
Right.
And then you saw what Baltimore did. Baltimore at one point was linked to DeAndre Hopkins. They're still linked to DeAndre Hopkins. Cleveland, Deshaun Watson would love to have D-Hop in Cleveland, reunite there. Kansas City still makes a lot of sense. Apparently they had something close to being done. You hear a lot about Buffalo. And while Dallas might not be on the quote-unquote list that D-Hop has out there, they check all the boxes of D-Hop's wish list. And if you're the Cowboys, do you go all in for a player in a year that the NFC is wide open and your offseason has been great? Your championship window, the path this year seems as clear as it's been in many, many years for the Dallas Cowboys.
It does, but I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't see D-Hop ending up with the Dallas Cowboys. A couple of reasons for that. I think Michael Gallup is back. I think the Cowboys are convinced of that. Brandon Cooks, that addition. I don't know what you have with the rookie you drafted last year, if he's, going to show up this year or not. He says he is, but I think you're set at a wide receiver if you're the Dallas Cowboys. And bringing in a D-Hop and spending that money, I don't think that's where it needs to be. Look, if you're going to go out and get somebody, go out and get another defensive back, another linebacker. I think the defense is good, but another run stopper perhaps. I don't know. But I don't think another wide receiver is the answer for the Cowboys.
When you look at who's on the free agent market, and I still think they need to add to the running back room.
Running back, exactly.
But I'm greedy, and if I'm going all in, D-Hop is a nice luxury item because outside of year 3 starters, the depth in the wide receiver room isn't that strong. So why not?
That's pretty sad, isn't it?
Well, I mean, or let's say not proven.
Right.
Well,
Jalen Tolbert. I mean, you talk about a bust thus far.
Yep.
That could change.
It
could.
But would you rather have a D-Hop or a Jalen Tolbert? And you still got a Jalen Tolbert. They drafted another Jalen this year in the 7th round.
Mm-hmm.
You still have like a Dennis Houston on the practice squad. There are some guys there, but from a proven category, why not add insurance if you can add a D? If you are truly all in, do you push your chips to the middle of the table and say, "Damn it, let's go"?
So what are you saying? If they don't sign D-Hop, they're truly not all in?
No, I mean, when he signs somewhere else and you see the money, we're all going to say if it's 15 to 20, well, good that the Cowboys didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
If he signs for 8, aren't we all going to say the Cowboys could have found $8 million for a DeAndre Hopkins?
Well, sure they could have.
So at the very least, kick the tires to see if it's worth going all in. Don't just say, we're good at wide receiver. We don't need to take that call.
Go look at that video. I don't think D-Hop's interested in playing with Dak Prescott.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I go see those videos he was posting early this offseason working out with Dez. that certainly seemed like he wanted to be in Dallas.
Well, with Dez, not with Dak.
Again, he wants a quarterback that loves the game. Check.
He wants Patrick Mahomes. That's what he wants.
Well,
he wants Patrick Mahomes.
And who wouldn't?
Of course.
Right? He wants a great defense. Check. Stable management.
Uh-huh.
Check.
Define stable.
No state taxes.
Uh-huh.
Check.
Well, what's Kansas City? Do they have state taxes?
Of course they do.
They do?
Yeah, Texas and Florida are the only ones that don't.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Look it up.
It's not.
Really?
So Miami's a perfect fit for him. Is that what you're saying?
Miami's in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It's a perfect fit. Like, he's not coming to the Cowboys. It's not happening.
I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying if you're the Cowboys, you go all in and you kick the tires on it.
Well, I'm sure they're kicking the tires all over the place. Kansas City. D-Hop's going to end up in Kansas City. Book it right now. Which is going to make it a lot harder for your Cowboys when they get to the Super Bowl and have to play Kansas City.
Dude, it's a Monday or Tuesday that feels like a Monday, man.
I just don't think D-Hop's coming to the Cowboys.
I don't either.
I could be wrong. I just don't think there's a chance in hell.
I don't think, well, I wouldn't say a chance in hell, but.
Chance in hell. Or what do they say? It will freeze over.
Saying there's a chance.
It will freeze over.
Yeah. I don't think we're at that point.
All right.
I don't think we're at that point. You know, it's interesting over at the SEC meeting, so much talk about scheduling.
Yeah.
Is it 8 games? Is it 9 games? It's a simple answer. Follow the money. We'll talk about it as we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're having any issues at your house with your plumbing or your air conditioner, you know there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios, big job, small job, residential, or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quartermoon, they do not have commissioned sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quartermoon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. 651-5899 or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines, such as aspirin products. Thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The following is a message from the future, sent by Jamie from Progressive.
Back in 2023, you could get help from Progressive online, through our mobile app, or over the phone. But here, in the future, we can communicate with you through telepathy. Now, I don't think anyone in 2023 has mastered telepathy yet, but if you have, then you can totally read my thoughts right now. And yes, I did leave the oven on. Wow, you're good at this.
That was a message from the future. Get the help you need today with Progressive.
Do you smell smoke? I really should go.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-330-2929. That's 800-330-2929. 800-330-2929.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-279-0433 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-279-0433. That's 800-279-0433. What do you have to lose? Call 800-279-0433. Again, 800-279-0433.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores. Get in zone, AutoZone. See details at AutoZone.com.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit betterhelp.com/score to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/score.
All guests appearing on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star appear on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. Joe Reinagel, Jason Minix, The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is The Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. The SEC meeting's going on down in Destin, Florida. You know, it's interesting. They always find great destinations to have meetings.
Of course.
Well, do you get any work done?
No, probably
I mean,
not.
Why don't we have our meetings in, I don't know, somewhere in Missouri so we can actually get in a hotel room and not wish we were outside or at a bar? Because if I'm at the meetings in Florida, I'm hoping this thing wraps up so I can get to a bar or beach, right?
Right. And that's the same thing they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you meet for a couple hours and then it's martini lunches and that's it.
Let's get us out of here before our wives continue shopping.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I don't think those guys give a damn. Their wives can shop.
I don't care how rich you are. You still give a damn when your wife's out shopping. You look at a couple of the things coming out is scheduling. How it affects us is, are they going 8 or 9 games? It won't be long before the Longhorns are in the SEC. We want to see the Longhorns in the same pod as Texas A&M to renew the rivalry.
Sure.
But if they go with this odd scheduling, that game might not happen every year.
To happen every year. That's all right.
I beg to differ.
Well, it should happen, but look, I'll irritate.
If you follow the money, it better happen every year.
Irritate some Aggies. They're the ones that have run from it. It's true.
Now, my Longhorn is going to show here. I mean, we made fun of them for running from it, and now we're chasing them back to the SEC.
Well, that's fine.
I mean, we're, yes.
What are they afraid of? Why wouldn't they want to play Texas every year?
It's one of those things. I think the people that were making the decision then on both sides, none of them are there anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, I understand why when Texas is in the Big 12 and they're in the SEC, why they wouldn't want it on there. And it's a no-win situation for either, right? It's a win-win for the fans, for the program. For one, it's bad. I get it, right? But the Longhorn and me stop that. Oh, the Aggies ran and all that a long time ago, especially now that we're following them to the SEC, where we said we were never going to go, right? Because it's all about the money.
And it's unfortunate for Texas A&M in the respect that, well, here comes big Texas and Oklahoma, and poor A&M is going to be pushed aside again, which they think they always have been. So,
yeah, little brother syndrome is going to be showing
That's
big
exactly
time.
right.
But now you look at the scheduling thing, 8 or 9 games, SEC games.
Mm-hmm.
Are the TV networks going to pony up more money?
Of
No.
course they are.
Are they?
Yes.
They've already got a contract.
For SEC football?
I mean,
they will.
And again, as they sit right now, the contract's for 8. So unless they increase the contract, like Missouri's the one saying, yeah, let's play 9. Why not? And we don't have any money anyway, so let's go, right? Of course, CBS and the ESPN are going to give up more money for another game.
Wasn't CBS out of the mix in the SEC before long?
I think you're right.
They are. I know ESPN's in, and was it Fox?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard keeping up with it because it's gazillions of dollars for all these games. Now, if you're who it will hurt are the little payday games, right? Because you're going to have one fewer payday game on the schedule.
Right.
So while that's an easy win for those other universities, one of those paydays would go away if they add in a 9th SEC game. Just play the games. I don't know why there's so much talk about how many games, because ultimately whatever the dollar tells you to do is what they're going to end up doing. If they can get more money, then they're going to play 9 games. If the networks say we're already giving you a lot, we're good, then they're going to stay at 8.
Now, according to this article, it is just ESPN. They're taking over from CBS next year, and it's a 10-year media rights deal.
For like $14 or something?
$14?
I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
but I'm sure that's all it was.
Ridiculous amounts of money.
Ridiculous amounts of money. But look, I would assume that ESPN would love to have another game. Now, how much that's going to cost them, I don't know. But Greg Sankey is saying he'd like to have this thing put to bed and announced here in the coming weeks.
Well, Sankey, and he's right. The SEC is always on the forefront, right?
Mm-hmm.
What he doesn't want is to keep things the way they are and have one of these other conferences, whether it be the Big Ten, and it would likely be the Big Ten, that would add it in and have it first, right? The SEC wants to be first at everything, and they've been first at everything. So forward thinking, this is what they need to do.
I just find this interesting, though. It is ABC as well, obviously, because
ESPN.
right. But
Disney.
that's going to be the same 2:30 slot from what I'm reading here. But instead of on CBS, it's going to be on ABC,
which is going to be weird.
It will be weird, but we'll get used to it.
We will.
And they paid a ton of money. I don't see any specifics. Look, I just think it's going to be easy. I think Sankey goes to ABC and he says, we want to do 9 games. It's going to cost you another $1 billion.
Okay.
ABC's going to say, all right, no problem.
Okay.
I think that would be the case.
The question that I have on all of that, and who knows, and again, going back and getting more money, easier said than done. But for ESPN, for Disney, to go back to, say, the Dr. Peppers of the world and, the insurance company of the week and all this, and say, okay, we did this and our long-term contract was this, but we're this extra good. You good? Not good. Oh, okay. And you kind of go from there.
And you figure it out. The problem is, too, I mean, and Disney, apparently in trouble. They're laying off people. ESPN doing the same thing. And I don't know what that means, if it's just a rearrangement of stuff. But,
at suit level that most of us will never quite understand, because while ESPN is going through another round of layoffs, and we all have, I've had friends that have been laid off that have been with the company for a long time.
Sure.
Right. Amanda Brown, one of the most recent, she's been running ESPN LA for a long time. And then they signed Pat McAfee to
$100 million deal,
a gross amount of money.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, while they are laying off, business is still very good.
Yeah, apparently.
It's revenue in, revenue out. Pat McAfee, they figure they could recoup that money. So, yeah, let's sign them to that, because, if you can generate revenue, they're figuring if they're paying him that, he's going to generate a lot more than that.
Sure, but you see it. The optics are not good.
The optics aren't
They're
good.
not.
When you look at a Stephen A. or a Greeny or
Sure.
a Pat McAfee and what they're making, and then 100 people that work on their staffs are let go.
Right.
That's part of it. Now you talk about 8 or 9 games. A guy who always has dollars on his mind, Alabama's Nick Saban.
Uh-huh.
What does it mean for him playing 8 or 9 games?
I think whatever happens. I think there's so many things that probably sort of go into this in terms of 8 games versus 9 games, including TV contracts and things that are way beyond my scope of visibility, that I'm sure a lot of those things will, sort of factor into it. But I still am always of the opinion that we should pay all Division I games. I've said this for years. So whether there's 60 teams in the Power 5 conferences or 70 teams or however many there are, that it's better for fans, it's better for strength of schedule that we all play all Power 5, games. So however we get to that, I think that's the best thing. I think one of the more difficult things with going to 9 games is, we've tried to schedule 2 out of conference Power 5 games to try to improve our strength of schedule over the next, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And if we go to 9 games, we'll have to unwind that. So my deal was always play more SEC games because we couldn't get other people to schedule. So now I think there's more people in tune to scheduling. So having a balance is probably the most important thing.
What an arrogant SOB, right? I mean, that's my first take right there. Problem is with that, Jason, and we know the fans don't like it, and you don't like seeing, 56-0 games, but those smaller schools depend on that money.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine a UTSA who's got a tough schedule this year and playing some of those? That money is important, and if that goes away, wow.
Think about a couple of years ago, all the money they made when they went up and beat Illinois.
Absolutely.
On the road.
Well, they were going to get that money either way, but yes, it's just nice to get the win.
Yeah, you got the win and you got the money, right? A&M this year losing to directional school. A&M lost to.
Yeah, it was some cupcake.
Drawing a blank.
Was it App State, was it?
Huh?
No, it wasn't App State. Was it App State?
No, it might have been.
Might have been.
I don't know.
It was somebody they shouldn't have lost to.
It was. And none of my Aggie friends are going to text me and remind me.
Of course not.
About that game. And it is about the money.
Yes.
The other thing that Nick Saban said today, according to Brett McMurphy, he tweets out in the last couple of minutes when talking about NIL, we're the NFL right now. Alabama's Nick Saban, quote, "You think it's parity here. I think the way Southern Cal, Texas, and Texas A&M are spending money, it hasn't hit yet. What are you willing to spend?" It was App State, 17-14.
App State.
Look at that. Still no text from an Aggie friend.
Of course not. They don't want to remember that. More SEC is better. That's the conference that everybody's watching. I think the Big 12 is going to be good this year. Or next year, whenever this kicks in with some of the teams, interesting. And then there's talk now that Colorado could come back to the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting how college football is shaking things up a little bit.
It really is. And again, this is the tip of the iceberg. And it's important because if the SEC does it, you're going to start seeing these other bigger conferences that now have, the Big 12, whatever number they end up at, the Big 10, more conference games, which is better. I mean, we all get so excited for football, and the opening week in September is generally pretty good.
Absolutely.
And then you get a couple of cupcake games in there before, conference play starts. I would rather have 12 quality games on the schedule every year for everybody.
Well, but the argument against that is, the NFL has preseason games. College football, you have none. So sometimes when an Alabama plays an App State or A&M plays an App State, that's supposed to be that.
Yeah.
You don't plan on getting beat by somebody like that, especially in your own house.
No, but I mean, for Texas, playing North Texas just ain't fun.
No.
From a fan perspective.
Sure. No, I hear you.
I get it from the financial side for like a North Texas or, all that. But honestly, I mean, UTSA going up and playing Texas, that's a good money game. And they played well for a half.
They did.
And I know they're
Not
on
for the whole game, actually.
on
yeah.
a future schedule there.
Yeah.
I get all that, but I'd rather see every game be big games.
I hear you. But you kind of accept it, though, right? I mean, we
accept it because that's the way it's always been.
It's exactly right. So
and
you're
if you
saying,
don't like it, it's because you fear change.
So Alabama, Georgia, day one.
Whew, that'd be a hell of a kickoff.
Texas, Oklahoma, day one. That would be tough.
I could do without the A&M Sam Houston State game, the Texas North Texas game, to be honest with you.
Sure, I get that.
But
those schools need it.
They do.
They do.
Nebraska taking on Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa depends on that Nebraska bunny.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
They told me. It's
Yeah.
big. Don't let it go away, Joe.
What about Northern Illinois?
Don't let it go away. We need it.
We do need it. We do have the NBA Finals are set. The 8-seeded Miami Heat.
Yes.
They take care of business last night in Beantown. We're talking about it as we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
First, I got to tell you about my good friends at Stevens Roofing. How about that storm yesterday? Oh, my goodness. A little bit of hail, too, at least where I was driving. I had to pull over and get underneath a tree for a second. And don't tell me that's not the right thing to do. It helped, all right? And then I could get going. But if that was bad for your roof, if you had some hail here in town and it was banging on your roof, you need to get that thing checked out. You want to work with a company that is right here. They've been here in town in South Texas for a long time, and they're not going anywhere. And, of course, that is Stevens Roofing. They're a local roofing company, years of experience, and you'll want to work with the companies people live in our area and deal with the same weather that we do. They've got a great saying. It's buy local, stay local, trust local with Stevens Roofing, and it makes perfect sense. The pros at Stevens Roofing repair and install all kinds of roofs, from metal to composition, commercial to residential, and if you have an insurance claim, let Stevens Roofing deal with that for you. It's going to take it right off of your plate. They'll handle the insurance company. When you give them a call at 210-785-0994, they're going to send somebody out. They'll check for any damage, and they're going to give you an honest assessment. And whether it's a simple leak or a roof replacement, Stevens Roofing is your local roofer. They're here for you, rain or shine, and they're going to be here for years to come. You can get them online at stevensroofing.net. But don't forget that saying, buy local, stay local, trust local with Stevens Roofing. Again, that phone number, 210-785-0994.
It's R&R in the morning, tomorrow at 6.
Tomorrow on R&R in the morning, we continue to break down the finals, but do you even care?
The Dallas Cowboys had some eye-opening performers in the OTAs. We'll tell you who they were. The party starts at 6.
R&R in the morning, tomorrow at 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh, yeah. Love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Gravely Momentous Savings Event is going on at Bill's Tractor. Get up to $1,000 off select Gravely zero-turn mowers. Bill's Tractor is offering 0% financing for approved buyers with payments starting at only $104 a month. Gravely mowers are designed for exceptional comfort and built for dependability. Don't miss the Gravely Momentous Savings Event at Bill's Tractor and save up to $1,000 on a new Gravely zero-turn mower. Test drive a Gravely mower today or visit billstractor.com.
It can happen in an instant. A car accident can change your life forever. From serious injuries to mounting medical bills to battling insurance companies, accidents make life harder than it should be. If you've been in an accident, George Salinas Injury Lawyers are here for you. They're local, experienced, and ready to fight for results that make a difference. If you've been injured, don't call just any lawyer. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers at 210-225-0909 or visit georgesalinas.com.
George gets justice.
Diamonds Direct takes our most popular offer ever up to the next level. Now, for a limited time, you can make any purchase and take advantage of special financing for up to 5 years or get $5,000 off. Get the lowest possible monthly payment or get a generous cash credit. It's all about giving you more. Design the ring of your dreams with our most flexible finance options and best savings ever offered. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
This is The Blitz with Jason and Joe. KTFM, Floresville, and always at ESPNSA.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the Texas Rangers continue their series with the Detroit Tigers. They'll kick things off here in just a few minutes. If you want to, you can catch that game on San Antonio's ESPN 1250. Houston Astros have the Minnesota Twins tonight. First pitch there, set for 7 o'clock. Adrian Griffin is the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. He was an assistant in Toronto with Nick Nurse, who coincidentally just got the job in Philadelphia. Congrats.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is The Blitz here on 94.1 as San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Tuesday afternoon that feels like a Monday after a long holiday weekend. Hope everybody enjoyed.
Had a great time. It was a good weekend. Got, bittersweet somewhat, but it turned out good.
Yes.
Yes. I'll leave it at that.
Took me a moment, but
yeah.
I got you. I was in Boston all weekend.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was fantastic. Boston is one of the more patriotic cities I think I've ever been to. And I realize it's Memorial Day weekend, so everybody has flags and things like that.
Sure.
But
yeah,
Boston is a whole nother level that I wasn't expecting. Of course, when you're in Boston, you go through the Freedom Trail, all the history, everything that associated. But what they do honoring their military in parks, the flags, the monuments, the memorials that are always there year round. For somebody from Military City, USA, I think San Antonio could learn a thing or two from Boston, the way they have some things set up. It's incredible, powerful.
That's pretty cool. I've never been there. It's funny that I tell people that my travels throughout my career have been to the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And, with the Spurs obviously being in the Western Conference. But, I've been to a handful of cities on the East Coast, North Carolina, Philadelphia, New York. Never been to, so looking forward to making that trip.
Army Navy game this year is at Boston.
That's what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm anxious to make that trip.
And I will say that while the seafood certainly lives up to its billing, the Italian food in Boston, I was not expecting.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hanover Street. There's just pick a place.
Italian food.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
I wasn't expecting that.
What's funny about that, when you find cities like that are known for something. San Francisco is a good example. They have a little Italy.
Mm-hmm.
They're not too far from the wharf, in fact. And Marcus Floyd and I found ourselves in one of those places, and it was spectacular.
Well, that's it. Italy, a little Italy. Boston has a Chinatown. I didn't eat any Chinese food, but driving through there in the various Uber rides were there, and that was the other thing that I was pleasantly surprised with. Boston isn't really that big.
Really?
I think the most expensive Uber ride I took was $22. Most were somewhere between 8 and 14.
That's not bad.
No, and because I stopped renting cars a long time ago when traveling, right?
Yeah.
By the time you pay to park at a hotel, that's going to be $200, just the $50 a day parking, and then trying to figure out places to park in all these cities. Parking ain't cheap anywhere if you can find it. Uber is just that much easier, but some cities you go to and it's $40-$50 a ride, so you think about where you're going or where you're going to walk to. Boston Ubers were cheap.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy about that. Now, Uber's changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really has, and the way you think about a lot of things. So, well, that's good. I'm glad you had fun in Boston. That's awesome.
Foo Fighters were spectacular.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. You didn't make the Celtics game.
I did not, but I made my way into some good local Boston pubs for the 2 games that were played while I was in Boston. I can only imagine what they were like for Game 7 last night. But the one thing about Boston fans is there's no confidence in this team. None whatsoever. And for a team in the Eastern Conference Finals, the city wasn't on fire with Celtic pride like you would expect. You go to any city, and you and I, through the travels with the Spurs, you go on the road, and as soon as you land, man, it is in your face with that team and everything. It wasn't that way. You saw some people wearing Celtics gear, but not everybody. Hell, I probably saw more Bruins gear or Red Sox gear than I saw Celtics gear.
Interesting.
Which was a little surprising, to be honest.
I think that's an East Coast thing, though. Remember, we're in Philly, and Jalen Hurts was, even though he was playing great, nobody had any confidence in him. And maybe that's an East Coast thing. That, you just kind of
you're just used to the heartbreak.
Well, I guess you're used to it. You're just you're not optimistic about your team.
Well, I learned, and granted, I got out of the Navy in 1993.
Yeah,
so it's been a minute.
But
when I was stationed in New Jersey, lived in New York, and we spent 4 months in the Philly shipyard. And in Philadelphia, there's a lot of double parking, but you realize when you've got to get up in the morning and scrape your windows and heat up your car for 30 minutes and then coordinate with your neighbor on when you're going to leave, you start your day in a bad mood.
Of course you do.
Right. And I just think that's an East Coast thing. Everybody's in a hurry to go nowhere. And there's just that East Coast attitude of negativity. So even when they win, like Boston won the 2 games I was in the bar with, and the people would celebrate the win, but then immediately say, "Oh, this is just going to make the heartbreak that much worse." It was almost immediate and on cue, comical, in fact.
Again, that's got to be an East Coast thing. It has to be. We were Army Navy, December, right?
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia was leading the NFC East.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts was playing fantastic football. And it didn't matter who we talked to. Everybody's just waiting for the guy to collapse.
Yeah. And very similar to the experience in Boston. Now, you think about the way they won Game 6 to force a Game 7. Derek White with that incredible tip in.
Yeah.
Bar goes nuts for about 5 minutes. And then, oh, man, do you think we can get it done? It was almost immediate, and we don't play well at home. And you know what?
They're right.
They don't play well at home.
They lost 3 games at home in this Eastern Conference Final Series.
Well, and I think about like Jaylen Brown after Game 7 last night, talking about how they felt like they let the city down.
I felt, man, we let the whole city down.
See, really, Jalen, you didn't. You did exactly what the city expected you to do from the people that I talked to. You didn't let anybody down. You did exactly what they all said was going to happen.
Boy, I tell you what, Jaylen Brown did, though. He was just, I don't know what was wrong with him. I mean, Jason Tatum did what he could. Obviously, he got hurt early in the game last night. But, man, Jaylen Brown. And Spurs fans, that's all I hear is, Jaylen Brown would be great here. And maybe he would be.
You know,
but my goodness.
Jaylen Brown, and again, the body's not even cold on the Celtics, and they got to figure out what they're going to do. But you start looking ahead. Do you give him a supermax? Do you one? I do think they need to keep their coach around for another year at the very least, right? Give him a whole year, a learning experience. You know, he took over a championship level team and they made it to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals when they were down 0-3. I don't know that you make a coaching change there in Boston, at least not yet.
They should have never made one to begin with.
They should have not made one to begin with. That is true. Although I don't know if the end result is the same. The question for Jaylen Brown is he comfortable being the number 2 to Jason Tatum? Because when he's had the chance to be the number 1 guy, the lead guy, like last night, he didn't come up any bigger. He's from Atlanta. There's been talks for weeks about him going to the Hawks. Would he be good in San Antonio? Does he want to stay in Boston? Do they keep that thing together?
You know, I don't know.
Are they the right pieces together to get over the hump?
I'd have to say no. I mean, those two guys have played together for what now? 5-6 years?
Long enough.
I mean,
to where you think they would
have done something.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just not working between those two for whatever reason. But I think you're going to see some change there because look, if you keep both of those guys, they're going to be about $60 million, just those two, out of your salary cap. And so, I don't know what you do with that team or how it's going to be constructed or reconstructed, but they got to do something. Those two just don't seem to have it playing together. They've had ample time.
When you think about what you saw in this series, is it more on what the Heat are or more about what the Celtics didn't do? I mean, because you get a series that goes to a 7th game. It's generally pretty evenly matched. Now, Miami thought they had it done in Game 6. Derek White hit the shot of his career that nobody's going to remember. An incredible tip-in. Even Greg Popovich sent Derek White a text to congratulate him on the tip-in. And in a couple of weeks, nobody will remember. Think about one of Tim Duncan's best shots of his career nobody talks about because .4 happened.
That's exactly right.
If if Derek Fisher doesn't hit that shot, we're talking about that Tim Duncan shot. But but nobody ever brings it up because they ended up losing and they lost the series and nobody gives a damn. That's Derek White. His greatest moment will be forgotten by everybody but Derek White.
And that's too bad because he was the best player for the Boston Celtics on that particular night, without a doubt.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, Pledger just put up the salary. If Jaylen Brown, a supermax deal, would be a total of almost $300 million for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, $50 million in 24, 54 and 25. Balloons up to 66 and 28, 290 total.
So I don't know.
I wish I was tall and could play basketball.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
And be 30 years younger.
But I mean, if you're Boston, is that something you're willing to do? Yeah, I don't know. And where's Tatum on that list? Has he signed his deal yet?
Well, I mean, and Tatum's got big money too.
Of course.
I mean, so and if you're Jaylen Brown, the question is, do you want to go somewhere to be the guy, or are you comfortable there? And ultimately, he'll get that. They'll do a sign and trade with somebody. So that's what he's looking at, whether it's in Boston or somewhere else, or quite frankly, wherever he goes, he's still going to have generational money. And the people piling on the Boston Celtics, I think, have every right to. But at some point, you've got to credit the Miami Heat. As an 8 seed, working their way through, you beat the Bucks. It looked like they were done. I mean, how many times, and like a cockroach, you can't kill them. And here they are now going to the NBA Finals against Denver, and nobody will give them a chance against the Denver Nuggets.
What other team would have been able to come back from that heartbreak of Game 6? Man. At home, you've got a chance to bury the Boston Celtics, and then, Derek White gets the game winner at the buzzer. You just got to be devastated. But the fact that team and Jimmy Butler's the heart and soul of that team. I don't care if you like Jimmy Butler or not. Everybody can talk about Caleb Martin, and he has played great. That's fantastic. But Jimmy Butler without him, Miami's not here.
I just know why Coach Pat and Coach Spo wanted me to be here, and that's to compete at a high level and to win championships. I know that the group that they put around me at all times is going to give me an opportunity to do so. So I was always very, very confident in that. I worked extremely hard with the team, with Brickley. I can score on Remy all day, every day, as I've posted on Instagram. So I'm just confident. I know the work that we all put into it, so I know what we're capable of, but nobody's satisfied. We haven't done anything. We don't play just to win the Eastern Conference. We play to win the whole thing.
I love him. I do. And I think there's no in between when it comes to Jimmy Butler. A lot of people don't like him, and I do. I like his attitude. And not only that, he backs it up. He guaranteed a win in Game 6. And then he came back after that and guaranteed Game 7.
And the way I saw Game 6 end, quite honestly, just was a horrific flashback to 2013.
Yeah.
And I thought the Heat were going to go through the same thing. And I know in 2013, there was a Game 7. I don't remember anything about a Game 7, right? I don't remember anything about that Game 7, and I was there. Because Game 6, you were so close to winning it.
Right.
You know, I remember we were all in the tunnel, the ropes were out, you know, we're in the back, couldn't see the court because we're ready to, and
the place erupted.
In the Heat, you know, thought they had that one, you know, that viral video from the wedding. I get it. We've all seen that video. I mean, but they come back in a Game 7 and they get it done because of Jimmy Butler. And I'll go back to what James Pledger and I were talking about at the beginning of the series. It was a day you were off. I said I wanted to take Miami, but there was nothing I could come up with that said this is why Miami can win the series other than I like them. So I picked Boston. And I think the same thing is going to happen in the NBA Finals. Matchup-wise, everything favors the Denver Nuggets. But how do you measure heart and confidence? And that Miami group has it.
And it's because of Jimmy Butler. It is absolutely, and that's why I'll give them a shot. Nobody's given them a shot to beat Denver in the finals. Because of Jimmy Butler, I'll give them a shot. And I guarantee you, the odds came out today, Jason.
Oh, it's overwhelming.
I wrote them down. If you want to bet on the Nuggets to win the series, it is minus 400. I think some are even higher than that, which basically means you got to bet $400 to win 100.
Yeah.
Okay. If you take the Heat, it's plus 310. Some are a little bit higher than that. $100 gets you $300. I would put money on the Miami Heat to win this series because of, what is that? Himmy Buckets?
Well, Jimmy Buckets. Now, Jimmy is cashing in on what's going on. He's filed for a trademark for Himmy Buckets.
Himmy Buckets.
He plans on launching a beverage and a clothing line. So I'm guessing there's a Himmy Buckets tequila coming soon.
I'm sure there is.
Every famous person has a tequila right now. It will soon be available at Texas Your Liquor.
Of course it will. I am a fan of anybody that wants to talk a little trash, be a little bit arrogant, be a little bit, cocky, but can back it up. Jimmy Butler can do that.
Yeah. Again, Jimmy Buckets, he's a fan of. Playoff Jimmy, he's not.
He's amazing.
And he is that guy.
And he's the heart and soul of that Miami team. There is no doubt about it.
And he's 4 wins away from a championship.
Yes, he is.
And whether they're up 3, down 3, you just never know.
Looking forward to it. Let's go.
NBA Finals start on Thursday. And here we thought we were going to have 9 days.
I know, right?
When they were up 3-0 and Denver was up 3-0. Has those Nugget types, have they come back from vacation yet?
I'm not sure. I wonder what, Malone is doing with those guys.
Well, the only thing I've seen from Malone is apparently he went to Serbia horseback riding with the Joker, and it didn't go well.
Didn't go well?
Go figure.
Wow.
I mean, you got a team in the finals, and you hear nothing for a week about those guys.
They didn't go to Serbia.
Well, not in the last couple of days.
Was Jessica Simpson involved?
I have no idea.
Just checking.
Serbia, Jessica Simpson, and a horse. Details. No, kidding.
Woo.
Things did not go well, according to the Nuggets coach. So that's the story. Mike Malone. Jessica Simpson was not there.
Well, you don't know.
Well, the horse might have been named Jessica.
It could have been.
We have no idea.
Jessica might have been there. It's possible.
You're just trying to hedge your bet now that you've kind of committed sort of to Miami.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Sounds like it.
I'm dead on Miami right now. Let's go. I'm not changing that. Against all odds.
We'll see on Thursday.
You know how much money Vegas won last night? Nobody bet Miami last night. Nobody.
I bet somebody did.
Well, somebody did. Not me.
You're just mad because you're having to cough up.
Well, no, it's because they should have won it in Game 6. And by the way, I mean, you could take it that Boston cheated a little bit. I think the officials had a bet on that game.
Good Lord.
They added a second to that.
Blitz here
they
on
did.
94.1.
I'm saying it.
They did not.
They added a second.
You've been around long enough to know that the game clock in the arena is not 100% synced up with the clock you see on television. So sometimes when you see adjustments on the TV,
they added a second.
It's not what's going on in the arena.
They don't add the second. White doesn't have enough time.
Whatever.
So I think I'll keep that 6-pack, Rudy J.
Mm-hmm. See, I knew you couldn't sit here for 4 hours looking at beer and not end up taking.
Exactly. Look at that.
It might be a 5-pack.
Wow.
Although put it in the fridge, would you?
No. Somebody will take it in the fridge. Rudy can ice it down. Be all right. It will, if it's in that fridge, it won't be here in the morning.
Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk will join us coming up just after 5:30 to talk some Cowboys. If you've been thinking about how to secure the value of your assets, grow your wealth, diversify your portfolio, let me tell you about noblegoldinvestments.com. It's a great website. Noble Gold is a great company that will help you buy gold, silver, other precious metals. If you're not sure how, not a worry. Just go to the website, noblegoldinvestments.com, and they will email you their gold and silver investors guide. Then you talk to them on the phone. They walk you through everything. It's a very easy process to buy gold. And you think about gold being a safe investment to secure your wealth. Just look at what the price of gold was in 1970 up until today. It was about $35 an ounce. And the long-term trends will blow you away. Look at what gold was 10 years ago, 5 years ago. If you're thinking about long-term investments, and then you're looking at what your other investments are doing right now, think gold, noblegoldinvestments.com. All you need to do is go to the website, noblegoldinvestments.com. Don't wish you did this down the road 5 years, 10 years from now, going, man, I should have bought gold when it was. Do it now. Go do it today. And at Noble Gold, if you use promo code STAR, if you qualify, they'll send you a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin. NobleGoldInvestments.com is the website. Go do it today. NobleGoldInvestments.com.
It's Rim Wrecking.
That's a grown man's jam.
Board busting.
Throws it down. Oh, what a dunk.
Big ballin' basketball.
Hammers it down.
That was nasty. It's the NBA Finals. Heat. Nuggets. For a shot at basketball's ultimate prize. Hear it as it happens on your home for the NBA playoffs.
Get out the way.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Xeljanz tofacitinib is a pill for adults with moderate to severe RA when tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work well or could not be tolerated. Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help stop further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers including lymphoma and lung, blood clots, serious heart-related events, tears in the stomach or intestines, and allergic reactions have happened. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors have an increased risk of death. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, or have ever had a heart attack, stroke, clot, or other heart problems, or swelling of lips, tongue, throat, or hives. Ask your doctor about prescription Xeljanz. Visit Xeljanz.com or call 1-844-XELJANZ.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Men, you fought hard for the role that you play in your children's lives. This Father's Day, Cordell & Cordell celebrates you the entire month of June. Join us every Friday for our live webinar series, Father's Fridays. There you'll receive much useful information from our panel of speakers. To register, go to CordellCordell.com/Father's Day.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's San Antonio area attorneys. Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
It's time to play Stump the Experts, where today we'll try to stump Derek and Carlos, personal injury lawyers at Hilly and Solis, otherwise known as the Rexperts.
Hi, Harry. Fire away.
Carlos, how long after an accident do you have to file a personal injury lawsuit?
Well, Harry, there's a 2-year statute of limitations on filing.
Correcto, Rexpert man. Now, Derek, if a company goes bankrupt, can you still win and collect a big settlement?
You definitely can if the company had insurance.
Hey guys, one more question. How do you like my new baby blue suit with matching shoes and belt?
Honestly, that should be illegal.
Hurt in a wreck? You need to call the Rexperts at Hilly and Solis Law. Millions in settlements and no BS. The Rexperts are former prosecutors who are comfortable in the courtroom, and the Rexperts don't get paid unless your settlement is secured. See if your crash could turn into cash with the Rexperts, your accident injury lawsuit experts.
Experts are the way to go. Call 446-5000.
Call 1-877-RECT.
Tomorrow on R&R in the morning, who's standing out at Cowboys OTAs and who's set to have a breakout season? And we continue to get you ready for the NBA Finals. Heat versus Nuggets. Do you even care? Now back to the Blitz. Fellas, hope y'all had a great weekend and have a great show.
Appreciate you, Rudy J.
Yes, sir.
Make sure and listen to Rob and Rudy, R&R in the morning, every weekday morning from 6 to 10 here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. It is the Blitz. Kurt Bowles from the Austin American-Statesman, and this is happening in real time. Thanks to Twitter, we get this kind
I know, I love it.
Kind of stuff. What are you looking at me for, Pudge? You want to go breaking news on this? Oh, why the hell not?
Why not?
Kurt Bowles asked Jimbo Fisher at the SEC meetings if the SEC votes to have only one permanent rival, who would he pick? Jimbo says, quote, when Texas comes into the thing, of course you'd want Texas because that's a traditional rival.
Good for him.
When told Texas probably wouldn't pick A&M as its one rival, Fisher said, quote, we're not going to live our life worrying about Texas. We'll worry about A&M. That has nothing to do with them. They're a great school. They do what they need to do. We do what we need to do. Jimbo said, of course, there's a lot of great ones in the SEC. LSU's become a great rivalry for us, but I think you go a traditional route. So I ask you the question, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Call or text the Kia Bosses Smoke Meat phone lines or tweet at Joe Reinagel 210 at Jason Minix. Who is Texas's biggest rival? Because if the Longhorns aren't going to go A&M, you would think they would vote Oklahoma. Which game would you rather have every year if you could only pick one?
Wow.
A&M or OU if you're a Longhorn fan? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776.
You know, that's a tough choice. But for me, Oklahoma. And I say that because, look, I'd love to see A&M and Texas play every year. But that kind of went away. OU didn't.
For the record, you don't have an allegiance to either school.
No.
Okay.
But I love that game.
The Red River, what do we call it now?
Rivalry.
Yeah, because shootout,
Can't
showdown,
say shootout.
all
No.
those, whatever it's called. It's a loaded question and a tough question. If you're Texas, is Oklahoma the bigger rival game than A&M? And to a degree, you look at the neutral site, playing at the Cotton Bowl, being a part of the fair, In fact, that's coming in right now on the text line 0155. It's got to be Oklahoma. Chase Call says App State is A&M's biggest rival. The Longhorn and me had to read that. Sorry. I mean, Miguel says, give me UT versus the Bummer Sooners. It is 528. No, OU still sucks. I do look at, I mean, both rivalries are huge. I miss the Texas A&M game.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something about that October afternoon with Oklahoma and Texas. And one of those rare games where you say it doesn't need to go to the school site. Being in the neutral stadium, the way that field is split, and honestly, I have never in my life been to that game. It's on the bucket list, but I have never been to that game.
Wow. Now, that one I've been to several times, and the one I remember the most, and this is going to hurt.
They more of them hurt than not, to be honest.
Adrian Peterson he schooled the Longhorn defense all day.
Yeah.
And it was a blowout there. But yeah, I've been to several, and the atmosphere is incredible. I mean, it really is incredible. So yeah, put that on your bucket list and make it happen.
Well, it is. And one of the reasons why I haven't been is high school football. I'm always at a stadium on a Friday night, and that game is at 11 a.m.
Yeah. Tough to get to.
You know me in mornings.
Well, you can start driving right after the high school football game.
Again, it ain't. I mean, it's. I want to,
Jason. Sometimes, for experiences, you got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Get up there.
Finally, 1471 Tamu all day.
I don't know. To me, it's Oklahoma, and although I'd love to see it, that one never went away. It continued. Texas A&M has gone away.
And we've survived without the game.
Yeah,
and we all want it back.
I'd like to have it back, but I think Oklahoma is just, to me, right now, it's a bigger rivalry than Texas A&M.
And quite honestly, Texas won their last meeting.
Yeah.
Got the whole staff fired up there.
Yeah. Hey.
Great question. Shireen Williams, not only is she mother football, she is a distinguished grad from Texas A&M.
She is.
Very high honor that's been bestowed on her by the Texas A&M University.
Yeah.
I wonder what she thinks of this question. We will ask her as we continue here on the Blitz. First, though, let me tell you about Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex. Very easy for me to tell you about and recommend Ancira because I am a longtime Ancira customer, and it's because of their great customer service before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. That great customer service is why Ancira has been a top family-run dealership in San Antonio for decades. They're going to make sure you're getting the vehicle you want with the options and features that you're looking for. They'll give you great value on your trade-in, the best rebates and financing options that are available. And price made Ancira number one. Price keeps Ancira number one. So think Ancira. Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Hebner.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Staples has everything you need to help run your small business. Shipping supplies and services to help move orders out the door. Print and marketing services so you can print signs, banners, and presentations fast. And now during Staples Small Business Deal Days, you save 50% when you buy any combination of 5 or more boxes, mailers, and shipping tubes. Plus, find new deals for small business in-store every week. Keep your business running right and safe at Staples. Offer valid in-store, online order pickup, and Instacart. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Concord, New Hampshire location. Prices may vary. N71.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Ribs, burgers, chicken. Submit what you grilled or smoked, and you could win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market.
So good and tasty.
Grilling with the Blitz. Joe Reinagel, Jason Minix, The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. We generally talk NFL with Shireen Williams, but with this Longhorn Aggies question, I think we're going to start there. As Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk joins us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. And Shireen, you're a distinguished alum from Texas A&M University. So figure this might be a good question to start with you. Kirk Bowles from the Austin American-Statesman tweeting in the last 15 minutes with the SEC meetings going on. He asked Jimbo, and I'm paraphrasing, if SEC votes to only have one permanent rival, who would he pick? And Jimbo said Texas. Then Kirk Bowles says, I said, Texas probably wouldn't pick A&M. And Jimbo basically says, I don't give a damn. Texas can do Texas. But if you're from an Aggie perspective, if you're the Longhorns and it's not A&M, it's got to be Oklahoma. Which is the biggest rivalry in your eyes?
Well, I mean, I can't answer for Texas alums because I'm not on that side of it. But I think certainly for A&M, LSU has become a huge rival with the way they've played in all sports and some ugliness that's gone on there. So I think it's Texas and then LSU. 1B, a little bit below Texas, but Texas is obviously the top rival for A&M. And, Texas and Oklahoma have continued to play since A&M joined the SEC, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, whatever it's been, more than a decade ago. So, I would expect that rivalry would be bigger for them. And, they're correct in pointing out if you want it to be a rivalry, like you've got to beat them. And it's been lopsided for most of the rivalry. So A&M needs to make some inroads there and win some games, and they'll get an opportunity to do that now that they're back in the SEC. They'll get to play every single year. And, you've had now, a generation probably of A&M and Texas students and now graduates who don't know really about the rivalry. I mean, yeah, I get they know about the rivalry, but they haven't experienced it. Not really, not in most sports, not in the biggest sport that everyone talks about. So, I look forward to this group of students and most recent former students getting a chance to experience that. Those games against Texas were fantastic, especially when they were on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no question. I missed that rivalry, but you're right about Oklahoma and Texas. It never quit. And so I think when a lot of Longhorn fans talk about that, they talk about, well, we'd rather play Oklahoma. I've got to get your opinion as a distinguished Aggie, Shireen. Texas A&M, when it comes to Texas, they moved to the SEC. And I don't know how to say this without being kind of, I mean, do Aggies feel like the little brother of sorts sometimes to Texas?
No, does A&M feel that way? Absolutely not. But I think going to the SEC allowed them to separate themselves. A&M now has more students, more alums, bigger school than Texas is. So I think that bodes well for A&M for the future. But, I do think moving to the SEC, and I was against it when it first happened. I was like, why would you want to do that? You got all these teams in Texas. I think it's a ridiculous move. And it was a great move for A&M because they did get out of the shadow of Texas. For those who believed that there was a shadow, they were out of that shadow. and they moved to the best conference in everything. And I mean, it's just a fact. It's the best conference around. And so I think that was a really good move for A&M. They've gotten a head start. They know what it takes to win in the SEC. They've done it in a lot of sports, haven't done it in football. And I think Jimbo's on the hot seat this year to do it. And if he doesn't do it, he may be gone after this year if they want to pay him off. And they'll have a new head coach in there. So really a lot of pressure on him this year to get it done before those teams do join the SEC. And there's even more pressure on him.
And when you think about success overall, and you mentioned they don't have it yet in football, but 20 regular season titles in the SEC over the past decade, that's third, surprisingly behind Arkansas and the Florida Gators when you think about all sports. But for most of us, the focus is on one sport, and that's where it happens. Shireen Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us here. She is a 2020 distinguished alum from Texas A&M, so I did want to get your thoughts on that. But let's talk some Cowboys football. D-Hop is out there. He's available. Surprisingly, doesn't have a team yet. Did hire an agent. If the Cowboys truly are all in this year, do you see Jerry and Steven making a run at DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, well, he got cut today, so now he's free to sign with any team, and he has hired an agent. I would not expect the Cowboys to be involved in that. I think he wants more money than they're going to be willing to give, and good for them. I don't think you should give a lot of money for DeAndre Hopkins. I like the receiving core now that they've added Brandon Cooks. I wouldn't mind if they added DeAndre Hopkins, but not at the price that he's currently looking for. And I don't know if anybody will give him that. It's sort of like Zeke. Zeke's still out there, and Zeke's still out there for a reason because he hasn't gotten the money that he wants. So at some point, you got to decide how, quote unquote, little you will pay for, like what's your floor. You know, we know what your ceiling is. What's your floor? We know what you want. But what will you settle for? And DeAndre Hopkins may have to do that. He's not the same receiver he was when he showed up in Arizona in the trade from Houston. There are teams interested in him. Obviously, there are going to be quite a few teams interested in him, but it's going to be all about the price and how much teams are willing to pay and how much he's willing to play for. And that final number is going to be extremely interesting to me to find out exactly what it is. And I have a feeling that some team is going to overpay for him.
You know, Shireen, and I think you're right, because I think Baltimore overpaid for OBJ, quite frankly. I think that was a lot of money for him. So when you look at the Dallas Cowboys, though, wide receiver-wise, and I know a DeAndre Hopkins would be a nice luxury pick, good depth, no doubt about it, a quality guy. But do the Cowboys really need to add another wide receiver?
I don't know that need is probably the right word, but you can always use more receivers, and they could always use a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. And look, I know for a fact they like DeAndre Hopkins. They love what he can do. They said he has some special qualities that nobody else out there has. His hands are amazing. They were looking for somebody to take the lid off, and that was Brandon Cooks, much faster than DeAndre Hopkins. But they conceded that DeAndre Hopkins does some very special things that other receivers in this league don't do. His hands are so good, and he manages to get open. So, you know, they like him. I think they'll make that call to see what it's going to cost. If he'd do a one-year deal, I know that there'd be a ton of teams in this league that would be all over that. But I think he's looking for more than that, and I don't know exactly what teams are going to be willing to give that. And you certainly can lower the salary cap hit for this year if you give him a multi-year deal, because you have the signing bonus that you can spread out over multiple years. So some team's going to do that. Some team's going to sign him to a multi-year deal. I think he's going to get a lot of offers. But back to your original question about the Cowboys, I like the receiving core now. I didn't like it last year. I do like it this year. People are down on Michael Gallup. I think Michael Gallup's going to go back to being the receiver that we saw him be a couple of years ago, just because he's fully healthy. That ACL injury always takes more than a year, and that second year usually is really the key, especially for the position he plays. I think, again, it goes back to OBJ. He didn't play last year, needed a full year to get through that. Now he's a year past his ACL injury, which he's now torn twice. But I think Gallup's going to be a better receiver and go back to the way he was 2 or 3 years ago before that ACL injury. I think he's going to be really good. And I think Brandon Cooks going in there is also going to help out Michael Gallup. So I think they have really 3 really good receivers. And you know who I would look at if you want to if you want to add a receiver, Cedric Wilson has reportedly been on the market. I would make a call to Miami. It's not going to take much to get him from the Dolphins, and I might offer a lower round draft pick. Shoot, I'd be willing to give them probably a 4th or 5th round draft pick to get Cedric Wilson just because of what he meant to the Cowboys a couple of years ago. He was really solid receiver for them. He already knows the offense, or the offense under Kellen Moore. He could quickly learn the rest of it. I just really like Cedric Wilson, always have. So if you want to add somebody, that's the guy I would add.
Well, and you think about Cedric Wilson, I don't know that many people realize how much the Cowboys lost when he left until he was actually gone, as we visit with Shereen Williams from Pro Football Talk here on the Blitz. You look at some areas of the roster, and a D-Hop would be a nice luxury pick to add something to the wide receiver room, or even getting a Cedric Wilson, but I still don't think they're done in the running back room. And you look at Zeke, or you look at a Leonard Fournette, are either of those guys real options for the Cowboys?
Sure. And I worry a lot about the running back position, a ton. I mean, this is a coach who's now the play caller, who's come out and said, we want to run the football more than we did last year. And they ran it a lot last year. But are you going to wear down Tony Pollard? And who else do you have behind him? I'm sorry, Deuce Vaughn is only 5'5", and he was great running between the tackles in the Big 12, but do you really think he can handle 10, 15 carries through the middle of a line in the NFL? I don't. I think he's a guy you have to get out in space, and I think they can do some things with him. I think he can be a weapon. I like the draft pick. I just don't think he's going to be your backup running back that you're going to rely on to pick up the blitz and to run between the tackles. I just don't think that's going to be your guy. Ronald Jones, I mean, seriously, if they think that's their number 2 running back is going to take over the Zeke role this year, they're in big, big trouble. There's a reason he was inactive last year for most of the Chiefs games. There's a reason the Bucs let him go before last year. He's not that good. And I just think that if that's what they're rolling with, I think they're in big trouble at the running back position. I know they like Malik Davis, but it's a small sample size that we've seen from him last year. He looked good in the 25 or 30 carries that he had total all of last year, most of which came late in the year. But you don't have enough to know really what he's going to be, even at practice. You know, I know I've seen him a lot at practice. It's just not enough to know if he's going to be able to do it. So absolutely, I would go and re-sign Zeke if he will take a minimum contract with a lot of incentives. I would load it up with incentives and say, this is what we're offering. And obviously, like I said, he hasn't gotten a deal that will move him to sign and go join a team. And it's getting relatively late. I assume at this point, he may be waiting for a running back to get hurt and somebody to sign him. And we've seen that a bunch with veteran running backs over the years. Adrian Peterson probably being an example late in his career. But I think the Cowboys need to make a move to go re-sign Zeke if he'll take a lower contract, low salary cap number.
As well as you know Zeke, and you've been around him his entire career there in Dallas, would his pride allow him to come back to Dallas under that situation?
I don't know. It's a really good question, and I think that's the best place for him. And sometimes you have to swallow your pride, and you know, the lower contract is probably not something he wants, and to take that, you know, I mean, the Cowboys, Stephen Jones publicly said we didn't want to have him, we didn't want to offer him a cut rate deal, and we didn't think that was right out of respect for Zeke. So maybe he's not going to take that from Dallas. Maybe he would take that from somebody else, but not from the Cowboys. Maybe he'll just sit out and wait for a running back to get hurt and them to pay him more. But I sure would make that phone call to see if he'd be willing to come.
You know, you mentioned Adrian Peterson, and he's floated out there that, you know, he's still available. I don't know. I mean, that would be a long shot of all long shots to bring a guy like that in to see if he has anything left in the tank. But it is out there, Shereen.
Yeah, he's not coming back. His career is over. I think he's the last to probably know that his career is over. And Le'Veon Bell said the other day that, you know, he wanted to get some carries with the Steelers in the preseason. His career's over. Those guys just don't know when to hang it up sometimes. But Adrian Peterson's done playing football. Nobody's going to make him an offer. There's better veteran running backs out there. If you're going to make that move, you're going to do it with Leonard Fournette or Ezekiel Elliott.
Shereen Williams from Pro Football Talk. Make sure you follow her on Twitter at NFL Shereen. Always appreciate it, Shereen. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. The great Shereen Williams on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. They are online at buyersbarricades.com. You know, we started the conversation about the Longhorns' biggest rival.
Uh-huh.
It is an interesting question. If you're a Longhorn fan, you get one every year. You want Oklahoma or do you want Texas A&M? We'll continue that conversation as we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hello, I am Jason Thompson, a lawyer for us. Since 1994, I have helped people injured in car, truck, and motorcycle collisions right here in San Antonio. I don't have a clever nickname. I'm not the law lion, the law gun, the hammer, or some other tool. I'm a practicing attorney. When your life is upended literally by a negligent driver, it can be overwhelming. Dealing with insurance companies is, in my opinion, intentionally complicated and frustrating. Why? The fewer dollars the insurance companies pay, the more they get to keep for themselves. You need an experienced attorney to help you make the best decisions for yourself and your family. And that's what I do. That is who I am. Jason Thompson, a lawyer for us. I'm a phone call away, 210-900-0400. The call and the consultation are free with no obligations. My number again is 210-900-0400, or just remember, alawyerforus.com.
16 teams.
Oh! And slams it down!
Down to 2.
Watching the replay, oh my God.
The NBA Finals are on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Ryan-Egel. I'm Jason Minnick. A Tuesday afternoon that feels like a Monday.
It sure does.
Time for our injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. They're online at tsaog.com. And let's welcome on to the Buyers Barricades guest line, Dr. Lane Nauer. I imagine surgery day on a Tuesday following a holiday weekend is a pretty hectic day.
Yeah, it's usually pretty busy coming back from the holidays, but that's a good thing.
So what if people just kind of act a fool over the weekend and hurt themselves, huh?
Yeah, well, that happens. We'll start to see that trickle in over the next few days. But, yeah, the holidays usually are good for business.
Well, you know, I mean, you get people that go out and they do things and they hurt themselves. And some people have injuries that they're trying to get a job with, like Jimmy Garoppolo. And he's got a foot injury that appears to be a little bit more serious than a lot of people thought. One doc said you need surgery. Turns out he did. What do you make of this Garoppolo mess with the Raiders?
Yeah, it's kind of a convoluted mess. It sounds like the in-season injury is what we call a Liz Frank. It's just a fancy term we use for some ligaments and even some small fractures in the middle of the foot. And it is usually an injury that needs surgery. Now, sometimes there are some cases that can heal on their own, and whether it was the doctors for that team or whether it was actually Garoppolo himself that wanted to try and avoid surgery, they decided not to do it. And now, you know, after the fact with the new deal with the Raiders, they've had to do it in the recovery and dealing with the prolonged recovery, which can really be 6 to 9 months before you're back to full strength. That whether or not he's going to be good to go for a new season, I think that's the issue now.
Wow, that's incredible and bad for him, and certainly bad for the Raiders, no doubt. I want to ask you about this term. Cowboys wide receiver Michael Gallup said that he's feeling springy again. He said that at the OTAs, 18 months now removed from that torn ACL that he suffered in 2021. What would you make by somebody saying they feel springy again?
So to me, and even in some of my patients, that after ACL surgery, whatever word they use, whether it's springy or their explosiveness, or I really feel like I'm back to my normal athletic abilities. It can take a while. We've talked a lot about ACL tears and surgery, and we see some folks that bounce back fast within 6 to 9 months, can get back to doing most things. Really, on average, ACLs, it's a full year, even sometimes a full year and a half for athletes to get back to what they consider normal. And for him, feeling like he's got that explosive first step or that cutting in a route, making a break where he feels like he was back to where he was. Sometimes it really does take a full year to year and a half, and that's probably what he's referring to.
Dr. Lane Nauer joining us here on the Blitz for our injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. A Seahawk that we pay a lot of attention to down here in San Antonio is Tariq Woolen, former UTSA Roadrunner, had an incredible rookie year, and he posted on his Instagram a little more than a week ago that he had a little knee surgery. Adam Schefter now saying he could be out until training camp at the earliest. Although based on what he posted, it's not ACL or MCL, just some sort of cleanup. Do you think that's more meniscus or just getting in there and getting some stuff taken care of? I mean, it's May. Training camp starts in, late July, early August. I mean, what's the outlook for Tariq Woolen?
Yeah, I think you bringing up that timetable. To me, if they think and expect him to be back for training camp in really, 6-7 weeks, then that sounds more meniscus to me. And a meniscus surgery, meaning just like you said, like cleanup or a debridement, where we can go in and arthroscopically remove a small torn piece of meniscus. If he had anything where a repair had to be done, where stitches were added to try and get the meniscus to heal, that recovery is more on the order of 3 to 6 months rather than 6 to 7 weeks. So, you hope it is something small and a quick recovery and no long-term damage, which is what it sounds like. But I think meniscus and most likely that cleanup procedure sounds reasonable based on that time frame.
All right, Doc, I got to ask you, we're going to the NBA Finals, the Miami Heat, the surprise team, and they may get one of their guys back in Tyler Hero. Fractured his hand in the first round against Milwaukee, hasn't played since, but he's looking at game 3 of this series, which I guess would be roughly, 4 or 5 weeks? Perhaps, I'm not sure that time frame, but what typically for a hand fracture, what would it require?
Yeah, usually if an athlete wasn't in season or specifically like postseason and now NBA Finals, recovery after a broken bone in the hand, especially with surgery, would probably hold somebody out for 6 weeks at minimum to, number one, let the bone heal and then recover some strength is usually what we're waiting on. Now, if somebody's in the finals like this, then you may speed that up and accept some lack of motion, lack of strength. His hand may still be a little stiff. And so they're doing that fine balancing act of getting him back with reasonable function that he can actually be of service to the team, but also long enough that he's had a chance for it to heal and not be at risk for damaging it worse.
Well, and he's been doing some. I don't know, the fact that they've made it this far without him. Whatever you get out of him, I think is going to be a bonus. Staying with basketball, Doc. Interesting story over the weekend. Lonzo Ball, the Bulls privately believe, according to reports, that he will never be able to play basketball again.
Wow.
I mean, when you're thinking about a knee injury, and it seemed like your run-of-the-mill type knee injury to end your career, what is more severe in there that this would be in the reports or the thoughts of the Chicago Bulls?
Yeah, this is a case, and unfortunately for him, that I saw pop up, months ago when they talked about the surgery that he has had, and in our sports medicine world, it's a surgery that really no professional athlete, especially in the NBA, has had before and been able to return. What he's been dealing with is a cartilage injury. So the end of the bone inside the joint is that smooth bone we call cartilage. The meniscus that we were talking about is like a shock absorber that helps to support that cartilage. But sometimes that smooth bone can develop a defect where there's a large area that's missing and it's just bone, and that can be painful and cause recurrent swelling, and just a player loses that springiness or that explosiveness, and that's what he's been dealing with. And sometimes we don't have great surgical options to get that cartilage to either heal or regrow. And the procedure he had was where the docs took cartilage from another person, a cadaver, and transplanted it into the knee, into that area. And it's not his tissue; it's tissue that was placed in there to try and fill in a defect, and whether or not it heals well enough to give him the function he needs as an explosive basketball athlete. That's what the Bulls and he are hoping for, and even as a sports medicine surgeon, it would be interesting to see if he's able to get back to that level.
Yeah, I just wonder, can you pick the cadaver? I'd want to make sure he was a good athlete.
Yeah, no, folks actually ask that, and we don't necessarily get to pick that. It's we're hoping not for 70-year-old knee cartilage. We won't do that, but it is kind of a something where we have to match it specifically to fit that person's knee and the anatomy. So we have to be pretty selective.
Wait, hang on. So you've got to find, in this case, somebody like a basketball player, they're all tall. So you got to find a tall cadaver?
Well, it's we're looking at the size on the MRI, the actual shape of the bone, and we're trying to match that up based on some measurements. Now, in the last few years, we've been able to, some of the techniques have been refined that we don't have to match it precisely, but it's best to find somebody, and somebody as tall as him, yeah, it may be a waiting game to find a good match.
Wow.
Tall, athletic.
Yes.
Young. Not 70-year-old bad golfer knees.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Joe, your parts are never going to be in a basketball player. That's all we're hearing.
Nobody's choosing me, that's for sure.
Doc, you'd laugh at Joe limping around day after day after day talking about my knee.
That's not any good. They'd skip over you in the catalog if they did it that way.
So. They would. The cadaver catalog.
He wouldn't make the catalog. Doc, always learn something new every day. Always appreciate it, Doc.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Dr. Lane Nauer with our injury update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine online at TSAOG.com. The cadaver catalog.
The cadaver catalog. You know, that's just
one
weird.
you don't want to be in, actually.
That'd be like a section for athletes and, regular Joes and, you would think.
Yeah, but knowing you would want to go to the athlete section and they would say, no, look over here.
Yeah, that's the...
This 80-year-old had better knees than you, man.
Absolutely.
Guess what?
The right knee's fine.
You got
it's
the knees of an 80-year-old lady. Literally.
This is San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville, and always at ESPNSA.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Oh, Wemby was in action today. Victor Wembanyama's Mets 92. They actually won today. 86-83 was the final score. It's a semifinal round there in France. They lead 2-0 in that best-of-5 series. Wemby, not all that impressive. 13 points, 10 rebounds. Miami, Denver, best-of-7 begins Thursday. And you're home for NBA Finals 94-1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 and San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minnick.
So were you questioning the impressiveness of Wemby's numbers?
I just don't understand. Jimenez? Wow. Well, yeah, actually, I'm with Jimenez on this one. A double-double unimpressive.
It's Wemby. He's supposed to be a unicorn, an alien. All of those things, shouldn't they be a lot more impressive than that?
Dude,
the guy's 8'5" and he 10 rebounds. He ought to get everything.
Did you see that finger roll he did today?
I did. I did. I don't think that was today, but yeah, maybe it was.
I saw it on video today, so I have no idea. No idea. You just can't crap all over the guy because,
I'm not crapping all over the guy.
No. Oh, he was unimpressive today. He only had a double-double.
13 points, 10 rebounds. Is that what you want when he puts on a Spurs jersey? You'd be satisfied with 13 and 10 every day? Don't lie.
I expect more.
Yes, exactly.
But I wouldn't say it was unimpressive. I mean, you're reading the stat line
for Wemby.
How many minutes? How many minutes did he play?
I don't know.
I mean, how many shots did he take to get to 13?
I don't know.
Well, then, how do you? I mean, if
his
he was
team won, I think he's a team player.
If he was 3 and 19, then yeah, that was.
He's a team player.
How many assists did he have?
2.
He had only 2.
Only 2.
They account assists differently over there.
They do?
I have no idea.
You don't know. 13, 10, and 2, and then that's when I stopped looking. You know, it's very difficult to find stats from the France League. At least I found it difficult to find them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, but 13. Look, they're up 2-0. They only need one more game to win. I guess
it's a best of 5, huh?
Best of 5 to get into the finals of the France League.
Will the finals be over by the time draft night rolls around?
I believe they will, but it'd be impressive if Wim becomes the town with a ring.
It would be
already.
It would be. He's got an MVP trophy already.
Okay, sure.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. What's left? Wimby.
You know, we ran. I really want to get to this story, and we ran out of time with the doc. So before we do the headline blitz, James, you're a golfer. What is the worst injury you could think of on a golf course?
I'd hate to get hit in the head with a stray golf ball.
Pledge, you're a golfer. You agree with that, right?
I've been hit in the head with a stray golf ball.
That explains a lot.
Right off the tee.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I've seen both of you knuckleheads on a golf course do dumb things. Imagine you're an NCAA golfer playing in the NCAA championships down in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
And you're forced to withdraw from the competition because you hurt yourself during the round.
That would suck.
Because you stepped on the tee, the wooden tee that goes through your shoe and pierces your skin and goes through your foot.
Ouch. That's just a freak accident because typically, I mean, that's the chances of a tee, unless somebody did it on purpose. Actually, when you hit it, obviously the tee will fly, but the chances that it lands on its top with the point up, so you can actually step on that thing.
And it goes through your shoe and through your foot.
So who does this guy play for?
Oregon. He's
so
a duck.
Oregon State planted a tee is what happened.
You think it was Oregon State that put it. Did you ever in your wildest imagination think that little wooden tee could go through your shoe and then through your foot?
Yeah, I could see that if it was, but it would have to be anchored almost, or it's just the perfect storm, so to speak. Because, I mean, getting that thing to stand up in the first place just by accident is very difficult.
Well,
wouldn't you agree, Pledge?
So the fact that this is happening, like, it blows my mind. I step on tees
all the
18 times.
You do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
18 times a game or around.
Well, sure, but it's usually the head of the tee, which I do that too, especially on a par. You do the needle.
They flip upside down too. They get stuck in the grass, pointing upward.
I mean, Pledge could step on one of those barefoot. And it wouldn't
I've
hurt
been
his
playing
feet.
golf for over 40 years. I've never seen a tee do that. Somebody planted this tee.
Well, maybe this guy just has bad luck. Greg Solhag, Solhaug, is how you say his name.
Are you sure?
Solhag? I don't know. Stepping on the tee wasn't the only freak accident that happened to him. One of the golfer's shots went awry on an earlier hole and hit the mother of a University of Texas golfer, Brian Stark. Aaron Stark needed a splint after the shot fractured her finger, according to the Golf Channel.
Ouch.
So this guy hit the mother of some dude. And then stepped on a tee.
That's not your day.
I mean,
you should have stayed in bed.
And you're a good enough golfer to be playing college golf, but for the University of Oregon.
Yeah, that dude should have stayed in bed.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
He's a hazard.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
It is time for the Headline Blitz here on the Blitz. Nick Nurse gets the Philadelphia 76ers job. Congratulations. You get to coach James Harden.
Yeah, well, maybe not. I think Harden's going to bail out of his deal and go to Houston.
Probably. The strip clubs in Houston are encouraging that.
Much better, right? Look, I think Nick Nurse is a great coach. He probably shouldn't have been fired in Toronto, so I think Philly's getting a good guy there. I really do. I think that's a good hire for Philadelphia.
What surprises me about it is, and it does kind of tell me that James Harden is out in Philly. When you heard Mike D'Antoni is a possible, you realize he'd be going there because of James Harden. And the fact that it is Nick Nurse, who was up for the Milwaukee job. They've hired their coach. He was up for the Phoenix job. Did Nick Nurse choose Joel Embiid over Devin Booker and Kevin Durant?
Probably. I would think. Or Philly was just the first one to offer and he jumped on it. But look, you got Joel Embiid, right? I mean, so you've got a pretty good base there. You've got some players. And I think that, Philly, for whatever reason, under Doc Rivers, underachieved. They just did. So is that Doc's fault? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's the player's fault. I don't know. I think Nick Nurse is one of those guys that will go in there and do a good job. I think it's a good hire for Philadelphia. Adrian Griffin, by the way, is the head coach in Milwaukee who just happened to be an assistant under Nick Nurse.
It's funny, and now it kind of makes you think Doc Rivers is going to end up with the job in Phoenix.
No, I don't think so. I mean, you still got some coaches out there. And what I love about the Milwaukee hire with Adrian Griffin, at least they got somebody fresh.
Yeah.
Instead of a retread. And that's good to see. So, I don't know. I mean, Bud's still in the running. Who else is still in the running? You got Monty Williams, who's still in the running for a job, who I think is a tremendous guy and tremendous coach.
What
What's
jobs
left?
are still open?
Toronto?
Detroit, Toronto, and Phoenix.
Yeah.
Are still open.
Right.
And the question is, does Boston become open?
It could.
Although I really think Boston and Brad Stevens will give Missoula another year.
You think so?
A full year.
I just don't know. Just looking at Missoula, I don't have a lot of confidence in the guy. There's something about him. He just, I don't know.
He was a great young upcoming assistant.
Sure.
That
sure,
got his
I get
chance
it.
probably a little premature because Ime Udoka.
Well, I think he's only 34 years old.
Yeah.
Right? He's a young guy.
Were there some, I don't know, what's the term? Teachable moments?
Right.
Learning opportunities for him during this run? Absolutely. But I give the guy a lot of credit. Your team is down 0-3. I was ready to fire him, multiple times during this postseason, but they came back and forced a game 7.
They did.
Some of his adjustments, again, teachable moments. I just, if you're Boston, if you're keeping this group together, if they're able to keep Jaylen Brown and you've got Jason Tatum, do you want to keep that consistency there?
I just don't know. But see, I don't know if that is consistency. It's a half a season and the playoffs. So I think you could bring somebody else. The problem with Boston is I think Missoula's their third guy in 3 years. I mean, so that is a problem. Eventually, you're going to have to find a guy and stick with him and at least give him an opportunity. Ime Udoka was that guy, obviously. And then, well, what happened to him and, the inner workings off the court. But they should have never fired that guy. I mean, they really should have never fired that guy.
And damn it, Houston hired him.
Well, in Houston, I mean, it didn't take long either.
No.
It was like, bam, we got our guy.
They do definitely have their guy. Up in Golden State, the Warriors, their GM, Bob Myers, is announced he is stepping down. He announces that he is stepping down because it just feels like the right time. This is a guy who's been there over a decade and has basically built the Warriors into the dynasty that they have right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big loss for Golden State and one that's been rumored for a while. You're 48 years old. You're rich beyond belief. You're so well respected. Why is it time now? It's always weird when you figure people work their whole lives to get a job like that. You hang on to it until you're told not to come to work anymore. It's weird to see a guy step down, especially after only 11 years. I mean, if he were 80, all right, it's time. But he's still so young. Is he looking down the road saying, I don't want to be a part of the crap that's coming because I know what's coming and I can see that future and it ain't titles, it's lottery balls. I'm bailing?
Well, it could be, because Draymond Green, whether he stays there or not, I don't think he will. I think he's gone somewhere. But as long as you have Steph Curry to build around, I think Curry's still got some gas left in the tank. But I don't know. Hey, if I'm a 48-year-old guy, I've got a hell of a resume, obviously. Look what I've done. You're going to get offers. Maybe you already got one, or he's talking to somebody already, and he's going to bow out before that happens, take the job later, or maybe he just wants to take a year or two off. Why not?
Travel the world and
sure
live the rich guy life.
Just do whatever.
I mean, and he's also one, he could probably go be an executive, high-level executive at any league.
Sure.
The other thing is, could he end up in the NBA offices and ultimately one day become the next commissioner?
You never know. He could be. He seems like a pretty smart fella.
And that well-respected, and again, just one of those surprising announcements.
Right.
That, I mean, and again, San Antonio, we're so spoiled because we've had the same guys in place for damn near 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's unheard of.
It really is.
I just got this from Hoops Hype.
Yeah.
And it says the Suns have narrowed down their head coaching search to 3 finalists.
Okay.
Now, this is according to John Gambardoro of Arizona Sports 98.7 reports that Doc Rivers, Frank Vogel, and Kevin Young are the 3 in consideration. Now, Kevin Young, I'm not familiar with. The other 2 I am.
Interesting. And again, wouldn't surprise me with Doc. And you wonder if Kevin Durant has a lot to do with that.
Well, he could. That's possible. I just, and maybe it is up to Kevin Durant. But if I'm the general manager of that ball club or the owner, I don't like Doc's resume, especially when it comes to the playoffs and closeout games.
And again, his resume is great until you get to the postseason.
Yeah.
And, and Doc's line of, man, you know how hard you have to work to be in position to lose that many closeout games or that many game sevens. And,
no kidding.
I mean, he's right. I mean, you talk about spin, and it is certainly a lot of spin on that, but he's not a bad coach.
He didn't do himself any favors, though, in this playoff series.
No.
Game 6 at home, chance to close it out, and you can't get it done. Now, it's not all Doc's fault, obviously, but coaches tend to get the blame.
Well, and again, a lot easier to replace a coach than your entire roster.
Well, absolutely.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. For you Texas Longhorns, interesting question has come out of the SEC meetings. Credit Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo says A&M gets one rival every year game. He wants Texas.
How about that?
Problem is, Texas probably doesn't want A&M. If you're a Longhorn, you got one every year guaranteed. Do you want the Oklahoma Sooners or do you want the Texas A&M Aggies?
Maybe the Longhorns are scared of the Aggies.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, they're scared of the Aggies.
We continue here on the Blitz and take your phone calls. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip ER and get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocation, sprains, and strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. They're online at tsaog.com.
It's Rim Wrecking.
That's a grown man's jam!
Board busting.
Throws it down. Oh, what a dunk!
Big ballin' basketball.
He hammers it down.
Oh, that's nasty. NBA Finals. Heat. Nuggets. For a shot at basketball's ultimate prize. Hear it as it happens on your home for the NBA playoffs.
Get out the way!
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Attention business owners. Stop throwing your hard-earned money away on rent. Imagine owning your own building and saving thousands every year. Sound impossible? Not if you use General Steel. General Steel can help you save thousands by owning your own custom-designed building. Just call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-74-STEEL to see how much money you can save with General Steel. Our buildings come with a 50-year warranty, and thousands of companies, from Fortune 500 corporations to startups, have trusted the General with their building needs.
If you need to expand or start a new business, you really need General Steel.
I'm very impressed with General Steel. Everyone's been extremely helpful. I'd recommend General Steel to anyone looking to build a steel building.
Stop wasting money on rent. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-74-STEEL to find out about all our popular quick construction kits, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building. Just call 888-747-8335 now. That's 888-74-STEEL.
Tomorrow on R&R in the morning, we're getting you ready for the finals. 4 players that opened eyes at the Cowboys OTAs. And we're going to talk some SEC NIL money. It's splintering the conference. Now back to the Blitz. Jason, say it with me. I parked my car in the yard next to the car. I don't know about all that. I had some lobster and some chowder. A lot of it.
Yeah, you guys should just stick with your own Texas accents.
It's weird when you hear everybody talk like that. Boston, the weekend was fantastic. Hope you guys had a great weekend. If you did any grilling over Memorial Day, make sure you upload those photos you took of your great meat to ESPNSA.com. Every Thursday, we give away a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. We call it Grilling with the Blitz. So, you took photos. You put them on Instagram. You put them on Facebook. You put them on Twitter. Make sure you upload them at ESPNSA.com on the Grilling with the Blitz page.
I got to cook a brisket this week.
You've got to? Or
I've got to.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it's for my niece is graduating high school, and they're having a party, so they wanted a brisket.
Oh, yeah?
So I got to do that.
You excited or nervous?
No, I'm excited. Come on, brisket. I'm a vet.
Really?
I'm a vet. No problem.
Yeah.
Already told the fellas down at Tri-County Meat Market I'd be coming in. So
how many people are at the graduation party?
Well, there's going to be quite a few, but I'm not going to make 2. I'm going to make 1, and then
so
whatever
get
else
a good 17, 18-pound brisket.
Good, well, maybe not that big, quite that big, but it'll be good size.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the thing's on Saturday. So when I get off work on Friday, I'll put that thing on the grill, whatever, on the Traeger.
Yep.
I don't know, at some point in time.
What time's the party on
10
Saturday?
o'clock. Noonish.
Ooh, I'd go a little early.
You would?
Especially if it's big. It's put it on early and put it in the cooler and let it rest, man.
Well, that's a good point, right? And because I like it low and slow, and it takes a little longer that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll probably do it right when I get home.
About 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, be perfect.
9 o'clock?
Nah, about 8.
About 8.
Well, yeah.
I think you'll be fine.
You think
See,
so?
the question is, at what time in the morning do you want to get up to wrap it?
That's the question.
But you still have to have enough time for it to get done.
Well, that's the question is, I don't want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to wrap that thing.
Well, you're going to wake up that early to pee anyway.
That doesn't mean that I want to go outside and wrap brisket. I still got a few winks to get at that point in time.
Wrap it and go back to bed.
Well, I usually do.
Are we still talking brisket?
Well, I think so. What happened?
Just checking. Just checking. All right. Need to hear from you. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Jim Fisher talked media days. And a question from Kirk Bowles of the Austin American-Statesman has led us to this great question.
As you go traditional rivalries of A&M, you would probably say Texas.
That's why it should be 3-6, right?
Because Texas wouldn't pick A&M. Huh?
Because Texas wouldn't pick A&M.
That's fine with me.
Well, that's why I'm saying that's why we should go 3-6.
Listen, we're not going to live our life worrying about Texas. You know what I'm saying? We're going to live our life worrying about A&M and what's best for A&M. And that's great. That has nothing to do with them. They're a great school. They do what they need to do. We need to do what we need to do.
So
Nice.
translating the Jimbo Fisherisms is there's talk that the SEC with this 8-9 game schedule thing, maybe you get one traditional rival that you get a vote for, and that's your guaranteed game every year. Everything else is going to kind of rotate. Jimbo was asked, you get one vote, who would it be? He said Texas. Kurt Bowles says, yeah, but Texas ain't going to choose you. And then, I got to worry about Texas. Right? I mean, and he's right. If you're A&M, your biggest rival is Texas.
Of course.
LSU is coming up that ladder, but it's Texas. But if you're the Longhorns, you get to choose one. Are you going Oklahoma or are you going Texas A&M? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Or tweet at Joe Reinagle 210. Tweet at me at Jason Minix. I really want to hear from you on this because you can make an argument for both. For me as a Longhorn, I love the idea of renewing the rivalry with Texas A&M. I also love the fact that we won the last time. But there is something about that Saturday in October at the Cotton Bowl, neutral site, state fair, and that rivalry has not gone away. There has been no break between Texas and Oklahoma.
You know, I don't know. There's a couple of things that I have questions about. Number one, it's a no-brainer for me, Oklahoma, because of the fact that it hasn't gone away. And I just think that is just such a fantastic rivalry. The hatred there is incredible. Not that it's not between Texas A&M and Texas either. But my question is, when did LSU and Texas A&M become a rivalry? Hey, what have they been playing each other? What, 5 years? I mean, seriously, I don't get it. Have I missed something? LSU and Texas A&M. That just doesn't scream rivalry to me.
And an Aggie can help out with this.
Yes, please.
I think even before A&M was in the SEC, is the whole Texas-Louisiana thing. And that was their kind of out-of-state close rival, like Texas had Oklahoma, A&M and LSU would play, but not all the time. Then they go to the SEC. They have that 7 overtime game. I do think
one game.
Well, and again, it's the beginnings of a rival. I mean, you look at Texas A&M and you look in the SEC, do they have a rival?
No. That's what I'm saying. I don't think so. Who's their rival in the SEC? They just haven't been there long enough.
Well, sure, but I mean, you start to develop over time. But I do think the LSU Texas A&M rivalry could build into that.
You're being nice.
No,
now.
I mean, look in the SEC. I mean, they haven't played Georgia enough. Missouri.
Well,
remember they went together, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I do think a lot of times with rivalries, you have to have some wins. You have to have some losses. You're going to have your heart broken. And you need that in a rivalry. And I think Texas A&M and LSU have a little bit of that. If you're the Longhorns, you're going to the SEC. The fact that you're going to have Texas and Texas A&M playing again, to me as a Longhorn fan, I love that.
I do too.
I miss that game. And I hope they make it traditional again on Thanksgiving. I don't know if that's going to happen or not with the new SEC rules, but it would be great to get that back.
It would be fantastic.
But if you only get to pick one, you know what Oklahoma means. You know what A&M means. As a Longhorn, which one would you want? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Let's go to those Kia Bossa Smoke Meats phone lines. And Orlando, you're on the Blitz.
How you guys doing? Texas X here. Give me Oklahoma all day. To me, this is like asking LSU, who do you want every year, Bama or Louisiana Tech? I don't want A&M. Give me OU. I don't need little brother. They can watch in the stands. That's all I've got. Thanks, guys.
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
Hold on.
That was a little shot.
Hold on. One more time. I love. That's a decade old and still sounds sexy.
Yeah, but it still ain't true.
It's not. And that's the funny thing. So let me ask you this. You just heard from Orlando. And I'm a Texas fan. But when I hear Orlando say what he just said as a Texas ex, I think he is more worried about losing to the Aggies than he is about losing to Oklahoma, as opposed to which would be the better game or the more fun game, the more rival to go to. He'd rather take crap from Boomer Sooner if Oklahoma wins that than he would rather take crap from A&M.
See, now you're looking at it as a Cowboy or a Texas Longhorn fan, which would be the easier game.
Yes.
You want to see Texas A&M. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but what I'm saying is that Oklahoma has handed it to Texas's behind most of the time.
They have.
Yeah.
I mean, Pledge, can you look up real quick what the series record is between, and even, just the last 20 years? But I do kind of feel like, I don't want to say A&M would be the easier game, but the loss to A&M would sting more than the losses to Oklahoma, quite frankly, because we're a little bit more used to it.
You're used to it.
know?
Yeah. At Razor on Twitter here, and he didn't include Jason Minix, at Jason Minix. You should do that. A&M and LSU is a manufactured rivalry, same as Arkansas versus Mizzou. Texas and Arkansas is a real rivalry as well. The hate never left that from the Southwest Conference. I agree with that. I think, and I was thinking Arkansas even with Texas A&M. I mean, that seems more of a rivalry than Texas A&M LSU. I just don't see that. I must have missed something when it comes to Texas A&M and LSU, because to me, that does not scream, boy, I got to watch that game. It's a huge rivalry.
Now, when you think about the series record between Texas and Texas A&M, it is 76, 37, and 5 in favor of the Longhorns. That's not really much of a rivalry. Although it's fun as hell. The overall series record between Texas and Oklahoma since 1936, the first year of the AP poll, Texas leads the overall series 63, 50, and 5.
But lately, it's been swung in the favor of Oklahoma, has it not?
The problem is when Oklahoma wins, they generally win pretty big. Pledge, are you able to look up and see what the most recent scores are? Oh, since
last
2000,
10 years, maybe, or 2000 is good.
Is what? Texas, I can't read that, Pledge. Pledge, just open your microphone and talk.
16-8 since 2000.
There you go.
Texas is? Or Texas is 8-16?
OU is 16-8.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So as of late, it really hasn't been much of a rivalry.
Anybody want to chime in with Arkansas? Because that, too, was a great rivalry in the old Southwest Conference days.
But it was. I mean, the old Southwest Conference was fantastic. Loved it. Look, I just...
Well, here's the other thing. All right, Johnny Rotten 23 on Twitter tweets, at Joe Reinigo 210, at Jason Minix. From a national spotlight, it's Oklahoma all day. But from a Texas bragging rights, it's the Aggies. It's like Michigan versus Michigan State, but Ohio State game gets all the publicity.
But there are games that are played that even fans that aren't fans of Oklahoma or Texas, you're going to watch that game because it screams rivalry. They don't like each other. I'm not sitting around watching the schedule for Texas A&M and LSU. Woo, the hatred between those two. You cut it with a knife.
It's not there yet.
It's not there. It's not even close. They haven't even said hello yet.
Oh, they
much less have the first date.
There's been some spankings.
They had one game that was brilliant. And I watched that game with a bunch of Aggies. And that was a great game, no doubt. But that does not make a rivalry. Everybody, see, Texas A&M is trying really hard to have a rivalry other than Texas, because at this point in time, that's basically all they got.
Did Jimbo step in it today by saying Texas?
I don't think. Now,
I mean, honestly,
the alumni or boosters may say, "Hey, Jimbo, we don't say that."
I mean, And it's interesting because with Texas going to the SEC, these teams are going to play each other. And hopefully they get put in, however they come up with their new schedules thing in this pod where they could play every year, right? Or almost every year.
Right.
Depending on how it goes. But it would seem for the benefit of the students to be able to play 2 games at Kyle and 2 games at DKR. In your 4 years in college, you should get that. If you're a student, if you're in the band, if you're a player, you want that. And I think that experience has been lost now on a decade's worth of students going, right? Like I'm one of the greatest rivalries is the Army-Navy game.
Of course.
And, Navy had won, was it 17 straight years? Or 13 or 17. There were like 4.
That's a big difference, Jason. I mean, 13 or 17. I mean, what the hell?
Pledge, look it up. Pledge always gives me the look when I ask the producer to do producer things.
Well, I was just saying, I mean,
look
it's like,
up. I want to say it was 17 years. Like I've gone to 14 and Army finally won. I'm a Navy guy and I was happy for those guys because you saw their excitement. It sucked to lose, but there were 3 full classes of Army cadets that never got to sing second.
You got to play better.
Go Navy.
I mean, that screams rivalry. Michigan, Ohio State screams rivalry. It's just there's some that, I mean, that's why I just don't get it. And I understand rivalries have to start somewhere, but for somebody to say Texas A&M, LSU, boy, that's a rivalry. It's not.
And Pledge is looking at the list from 2003 until 2020.
14 straight.
Or 14 straight, 2018. Was it 16?
Okay.
All right.
15, actually. It's 15.
Pledge is counting. It was a long time.
Yeah.
With all those great games we got to go to.
14.
So they'd won 14 straight.
Okay. Well, you were happy.
That's close.
Yeah, 13 to 17.
I mean, you went
close.
up there,
Sure.
expecting to win. But the last couple of years, it's kind of gone every other.
That was a hell of a game last year.
It was
overtime, first overtime game.
Army won that one.
Yeah, first overtime game.
Unbelievable. I still hear that kid crying.
I know it.
Oh my God.
Poor guy. That's a rivalry. When you're crying because you let your team down.
He fumbled on the goal line.
That's a rivalry. He's upset. He's crying.
Mm-hmm. Dude, he was crying like he got bad news about a family member crying.
He did.
I mean, it was weird. Jason Garcia on the YouTube says, if the SEC lets UT and A&M play, who says it won't be on Thanksgiving?
It could be. I hope it is.
Well, I mean, but the SEC could make it game 2 of the season. I do think, though, that the SEC, if when they're playing, they will make that rule. Because, quite honestly, having Texas play a TCU or a Texas Tech on Thanksgiving ain't the same. A&M and LSU, they're trying. They're trying.
Okay, here's an Aggie fan, right? That just on the Kielbasa Smoke Meat text line, 2804, and I'm curious. And I know he's been seeing, all started with a 7 overtime game, but it's one game. How do you justify a rivalry? I'm still trying to get over this. This is an Aggie, obviously.
Well, rivalries start somewhere, and generally it's bad blood. And he says, as an Aggie fan, I'd love to play Texas again. Jumbo versus Sark. His words, not mine. He doesn't even know his coach unless he's making fun of him.
He's making fun of him.
You think?
Yes.
You don't make fun of your own coach.
Well,
2804, I'm just giving you a hard time.
With Jimbo, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just
think about
bad typer like me.
Well, it's possible. But again, rivalries have to start somewhere. Thursday night, the heated Denver-Miami rivalry will get started. We'll talk about it as we continue here on the Blitz.
Hey guys, June is Men's Health Month, and Revive Men's Health encourages you to prioritize your health. Book your free exam and T-check today and save $199. Call 210-615-7777 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, Jason Minix here for Noble Gold and their website, noblegoldinvestments.com. If you've been thinking of how to secure the value of your assets and grow your wealth, you need to think gold. After the latest bank failures and other economic news that could devalue the dollar, gold is a safe investment to secure your wealth. If you're not sure what to do, that's not a problem. Go to the website, noblegoldinvestments.com. At Noble Gold, they will walk you through everything. They'll even email you their gold and silver investors guide. Go look at what the price of gold was in 1970 up until today. Go and look at what the price of gold was 10, 15 years ago. A lot of people wish they would have bought back then, either in physical gold or an IRA. Don't wish you did this down the road. Go to the website today, noblegoldinvestments.com. Use promo code STAR for a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin they're offering people that qualify. Mark it down to due today. noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
If you've been in a wreck, call the Rexperts now. 446-5000. Call 446-5000.
Experts are the way to go. Call 446-5000.
All guests appearing on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star appear on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Tuesday afternoon, a Tuesday that feels like a Monday.
All day, it's felt that way. But I'm glad it's Tuesday because, look, tomorrow we're already in hump day.
Oh, good Lord. But you're right. Well, and again, I needed yesterday because I went to Boston on Thursday.
Yeah.
Got home late Sunday. Monday was a nice recovery day, which was needed. And I'll tell you, Boston was a blast. I mean, Foo Fighters were the Foo Fighters, but being in bars in Boston, watching the Celtics games 5 and 6, because I was home last night for game 7. It was interesting because two things about Boston. One, if you just flew in and didn't know that they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, nothing in that city would have told you they were in the Eastern Conference Finals. I found that to be extremely weird.
No car flags or, anything like that. Banners up everywhere. Nothing, huh?
Even around the Garden when you're walking around in that area, there was nothing. I mean, you see some people in Celtics gear, but honestly, I saw more Red Sox gear and I saw more Bruins gear, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah, okay.
But so nothing, you don't get that buzz in the city that you would expect. Now, going into the bars, getting ready for game times, and by the way, those games, they start at 8:30 at night.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Which is odd. You always see 8:30 Eastern, but it is kind of interesting when you go eat somewhere and then you still have plenty of time to get to a bar and watch the games. And Boston fans were as negative as Philadelphia fans when we were there in December for the Army-Navy game. And I know I texted you that at one point because you, Joe, certainly can relate to what I was experiencing because we experienced it in Philadelphia.
Couldn't believe it.
Eagles are rolling, and every Eagle fan that we talked to were like, oh, yeah, they're going to do Jalen Hurts sucks. It was like, dude, you guys realize you're in first place. Oh, the bad stuff is coming.
Jalen Hurts will fall off a cliff. We're waiting for it. And he was playing fantastic football at the time. But everybody was waiting for Jalen Hurts to fall on his face. Obviously, that never happened. They got all the way to the Super Bowl. But, yeah, maybe that's an East Coast thing, Jason. I don't know. That you just got to be negative. There's no optimism when it comes to your teams. You're just waiting for them to let you down. I don't know. But obviously, the Boston fans were right.
Well, they were. I mean, it was so bizarre because the celebrations that happen after wins were short inside the bars.
Yeah.
And 2 different games, 2 different bars. same kind of comments. Oh, the heartbreak is going to be worse now.
Yeah.
The heartbreak is going to be worse. Jaylen Brown, after last night's Game 7 loss, talked about disappointing the city.
We failed. I failed. And we let the whole city down.
No, you didn't, Jaylen. You did exactly what the city thought you were going to do.
Yeah, they expected you to let everybody down. They were waiting for it, apparently. You know, I tell you what, as I'm watching that game last night, and if there's somebody out there who actually had Miami winning Game 7 last night, please call me up so I can call you a fibber.
A fibber?
A fibber. I didn't want to call him a liar.
Okay.
I just think that, man, I really think that Boston just such a weird Jekyll and Hyde team that they play great when they're making threes. When they're not, they're just not the same team. And they didn't make threes last night. But it's just to lose 3 games on your home floor in the Eastern Conference Finals is just unforgivable.
You've the way they won Game 5 at home. At that point, I thought they were going to come back and win this series.
Well,
I really did. And then Game 6, Derek White with the tip in, because I mean, all Spurs fans probably had a flashback to 2013 in that moment, right?
Yeah.
You get that, you figure they're going to win.
Yeah.
Smart money was on Boston last night. Or was it?
No, obviously it wasn't.
Well, I mean, but going into the game.
Well, sure.
I mean,
how does Miami recover from that heartbreak?
That mentality. And you go back to Eric Spoelstra, you know, if not the best coach in the NBA right now, probably certainly should be up there as the best coach. Just kind of talked about everything that went right.
We did so many things right. I think from a metric standpoint, we did everything the best that we did all of the playoffs. Our defensive activity numbers, rotations, the extra efforts, the pursuits on the offensive glass, 5 turnovers. We felt like we did all the right things. We had our, season high numbers of attacks, and then to come up short, that could puncture a team spirit. But instead, that just drove us to more resolve to try to get the job done.
You know, he's a big part of it, but it's Jimmy Butler. That's Jimmy Butler's team, and they live and breathe with Jimmy Butler and how he's going. I mean, this guy is just willing this team to win, and the fact that they're in the finals, I think, is all on Butler.
I just know why Coach Pat and Coach Spo wanted me to be here, and that's to compete at a high level and to win championships. I know that the group that they put around me at all times is going to give me an opportunity to do so. So I was always very, very confident in that. I worked extremely hard with the team, with Brickley. I can score on Remy all day, every day, as I've posted on Instagram. So I'm just confident. I know the work that we all put into it, so I know what we're capable of. But nobody's satisfied. We haven't done anything. We don't play just to win the Eastern Conference. We play to win the whole thing.
You know, and that's a typical attitude of Jimmy Butler. Guaranteed a Game 6 win. They almost got that, didn't. But then he goes right back to the podium. We're going to win Game 7.
Playoff Jimmy. It's real.
It's incredible. I love a guy that can be cocky, can be confident, whatever word you want to use, and then back it up. And Jimmy Butler has backed it up time and time and time again. And look, if Butler is not Butler, Miami's out in the play-in tournament. And that's just a fact. And that's why I give them every opportunity in the world. Nobody else will give them a shot, including Vegas, but I give them a shot. I think they can win this series.
And if I asked you how, you would say, "Oh no," right? I mean, because matchup-wise, who's gonna defend Joker, right?
No, nobody can defend Joker anyway.
Well, exactly. I mean, guard-wise, I mean, you look at it now, coaching edge, Spoelstra. I mean,
sure.
I just literally said he's probably the best coach in the NBA right now, and he's coaching that way, and that includes the likes of a Steve Kerr or a Greg Popovich, and you know, for a guy that's been with the Heat for 30 years,
yes,
you know, reading about him today, starting in the film room, you know, it's such a, I mean, but he's getting the job done.
He is,
and his in the moment strategy, what he comes up with, where Missoula, nothing, right?
Nothing, yeah.
Now, granted, an experienced coach, and especially with a lot of playoff experience, guys that have been there before, and then you look at a rookie coach, of course, you're going to get out coached in those situations, right?
Right.
But at the same time, you just look at what Spoelstra's doing, and yeah, I'm not ready to make a prediction, but I'd be hard pressed to put money on Miami, my own money on Miami winning this series, kind of like I did in the Boston series. Going into the series against Boston, I said on this show, you can go listen in the on the audio vault powered by AA Best Bail Bonds. I like Miami, love this team, love everything about this team, but I don't see matchup-wise any way that they win 4 against the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are a better team, but you can't measure heart. And the same thing we all said about Denver. None of us gave Denver a shot all year long, right? How are they going to beat this team? How are they? When Greeny was on with us, how long ago was that? When his book came out?
Yeah.
I mean, regular season was still going on, and Greeny said on this show, and I've heard him say it on his show, and on Get Up leading up to it, the West this year was weird that you didn't think any of the top 3 teams are going to make a long playoff run. Yet here's the Denver Nuggets, no respect, and now they're there, and guys like Joe Renick, I'm betting on Miami.
Well, I mean, look, because nobody's going to take Miami. Everybody's going to take Denver in this series. I guarantee you. All I know is I've just watching the Miami Heat, and quite frankly, that's why I like this matchup, because the Denver Nuggets have a chip on their shoulder because of the disrespect that they've been given. So they've been playing like that. They're going to play well. I think Miami comes. I think this is going to be a hard-nosed, hard-fought battle. You're right. Nobody can stop the Joker on that Miami team. They can't. I mean, it's just a fact. But Miami just finds ways to win ball games, and that's what they've been doing the entire playoffs. And I will not doubt them in this series. Not the way they've been playing, not the way they've been coming up. So look, I'm going to be happy whoever wins, but I think I like Miami to take it.
That said, I mean, and again, we've got a couple more days of this.
Of course.
The 4 and 5 games for Denver that I've seen people, I don't expect it to be a short series.
No.
I really don't. Miami is too good. They've proven to be too good. I know they're an 8 seed, but
not anymore. They're not.
Well, and again, they're playing great basketball at the right time, and playoff Jimmy has arrived. They're going to get Tyler Hero back, whether he's back for game 2 or game 3. Whatever minutes he gives you is gravy. It's extra minutes. I mean, you've made it this far without him, so whatever he gives you is going to be gravy. But I don't expect it to be a short series. I'm hoping we end up with a great NBA Finals because, quite frankly, on paper, you look at Denver and Miami, there's nothing sexy about it. You know, for us diehard fans, sure. But for the casual fan that's watching all across the country, you know, all those flyover states, are they going to give a damn? Even though Denver's one of those, are they going to give a damn about this finals matchup because you just don't know enough about them?
Well, I mean, it was the same with the Spurs, right? Anytime the Spurs were in the finals, who gave a damn about San Antonio and Miami? Though the fact that LeBron was playing, maybe they did.
Yeah.
But I mean,
well, they gave a damn about LeBron, not San Antonio.
Exactly. They give a damn about San Antonio. So I don't care. I'm going to enjoy this. That's the NBA's problem. If nobody else watches, that's their problem. They need to figure it out. But I'm going to enjoy this series, and I can't wait for it to start.
Let's go to the Kia Bossa Smoke Meats phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Josh, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Hey, Minix, long-time listener, but I'm going to agree with Joe here, all right? I think being in San Antonio, Jimmy Butler has shown us, and I think he needs a new name. I think he needs to be Playoff Yimi. Yimi. Give it like that extra Y sound. Playoff Yimi comes to play. I love the way game. I love everything about him, being an old coach and now part-time pizza delivery driver. I'm with you, Joe. I got to get my eyes back on the road.
All right, Josh. Thank you. You're a smart guy.
Although playoff Jimmy hates playoff Jimmy.
He does.
He likes Jimmy Buckets enough to where he has actually trademarked Himmy Buckets. Plans on a clothing line and an alcohol line.
Well, isn't that Doug McDermott? Isn't that his name already? Dougie McBuckets?
Well, that's not Himmy Buckets.
I know, but it's like really close.
But, I mean, has he trademarked it?
I don't know. That's what I call him. Dougie McBuckets.
Dougie.
Hey, Dougie.
He probably doesn't mind McDuggets, McBuckets. Just don't call him Dougie.
See, this is what I'm talking about. And
Eric
everybody's
Bishop.
in style. Yeah, Denver in 5. Nobody's going to give Miami a chance here. Nobody gave Miami a chance against Boston. They didn't give them a chance against Milwaukee.
But see, and here's the thing, though. And you're right. I can't measure heart. But Eric Bishop is 100% right on this comment on the YouTube page at SA Sports Star. YouTube, search the channel, follow it, subscribe, whatever the word is. Denver is a tremendously awful matchup for Miami.
I agree.
I thought Boston was going to create matchup problems for Miami. Talent across the board, right? Yet Miami is there.
Everybody trying to take my money and my whiskey. You see Miguel Martinez, would you like to put a bottle of Jack on Miami, Joe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
maybe,
I see that.
Maybe.
I see that.
All right, maybe.
I mean, we're going to end up doing a show over at Texas Cheer just so people can come get the stuff. Because Joe can't pass up a bet.
I enjoy gambling. Yes,
I mean, honestly, there are people out there. You could say something. Sky's blue. No, it's green today. Want to bet? That's Joe.
Here's the deal, Jason. And I'm going to tell you from my experience, and I'm not saying I'm the best gambler in the world, but I've done it enough to know that if everybody likes one side, typically that spells trouble for that one side.
Randy, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man? Randy.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air, man.
Hey, sorry about that. First time calling in. I've been listening for about a year now. I saw Joe out at Texas Cheer just the other day.
Yeah.
And had to leave real quickly because I got paged for work. But anyway, the Rust versus Rust, okay? Well, whatever side you fall on that, right? But this has been a 7-game series, a hard-fought series, and taking into account the altitude of Denver and the legs.
To
me,
Randy,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Randy, appreciate the call. Altitude is going to factor in. I think that's one of the reasons why Miami booked a flight last night to Denver. Right? And I say booked a flight. They
got on a plane.
They planned accordingly, packed it was Miami. They're already like any team that's traveling for a game 7 packs everything they need to get ready for game 1 in the next series because there's not enough time to go home. But waking up this morning in Denver and getting a couple of workouts in ahead of game 1 on Thursday night will help them adjust to the altitude. They'll have a couple of days off. And yeah, the first part of the game could be clunky for Denver since they've been off for seemingly 3 months now.
Altitude will be a problem, but hey, what about when they get to Miami? Denver's gonna have a problem with the humidity.
Oh yeah,
I mean it's gonna be completely different.
And South Beach,
yes, and all of those.
The Fountain Blue.
Although I'm not sure the Joker is a South Beach kind of guy.
His brothers are.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Look, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the series. I will officially do this right now. I like Miami. Everybody's going to disagree with me, but we'll see.
I'm just trying to convince myself. Am I going to take a beer bet on this one?
Well, you might have to because you're behind. By the way, pal.
Whatever.
No, you are. That's facts.
Is it 6-5?
No, it's 5-4.
Oh, 5-4.
All
right.
I need one more win.
What do you need? One more
for the 6-pack. That's the deal.
Thought it was 12.
No.
Are we changing the rules as we go?
Is it 12?
I thought it was
Well,
12.
dude, I mean, I'd have beer while.
Win more. Win more. Wake up with Rob and Rudy tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. The Blitz back tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Follow Jason at Jason Menix and Joe Reinagle at Joe Reinagle 210 and always at ESPNSA.com.
Out the door! Out the door! You ain't gotta go home!